But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. They were too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
Self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It's Thursday night, and that's one of the nights we get together and talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. You know what those things are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming this show live on Facebook, YouTube, and DLive. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we are taking your phone calls tonight. As you know, and if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, you understand that this is a two-way conversation. I get this thing started, we kick it off, talk about something current, relevant to the news cycle, and discuss the propaganda value, discuss the scientific value, and discuss the clickbait value. It's part of the whole shtick here, part of what we do, because in a post-truth world, you don't really know who to trust, do you? And I think that's really the crux of all of this conversation, and why we kind of have to have it, have a two-way conversation. Because if you do it without, just kind of in a bubble, right, in a vacuum, as they say, and just kind of create these narratives, sure, fine, it may be okay, but I'm only one person after all, and you seem to miss things, right? Like you don't catch a particular detail, you don't, you miss this or you miss that. And so as part of that, we're a big family. We're a big group. We are a bunch of folks with concerned minds that hopefully have hope for humanity in the future. And so by being good people, paying attention to the news, and trying to be informed, because of course, if you can't be informed, you can't be active in turning things around and making them go, right? So there we are. That's what this show's about. That's why it goes two ways with a conversation, and meaning that if you want to be part of the show tonight, you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord as well. Go to troubledminds.org, the official website. Phone number and the Discord link are right on top. And and that's what's up. That's what we're doing tonight. So as many of you know, this past week, it started on Sunday, and it's kind of been UFOs, okay? So it's okay if you guys want to continue talking about UFOs. I kind of steered us in a different direction tonight because, too much of the same thing all at once can just be tiresome, let's say. I think that's a good way to put it. Just you get sick of talking about the same stuff, right? So, but it's okay if you guys are still into the UFO news cycle, that 60-minute story, if you're into and you really want to follow up on the conversations we've had on this show for the past couple days, you're welcome to do that. Like I said, this is basically me starting a conversation, and we kind of don't know where we're going to go from day to day. It just depends on where you guys want to take this. So if you're still into the propaganda aspect of the 60 Minutes episode and how the entire media news cycle has just kind of pivoted to be talking about UFOs, and more UFOs, that's okay. We can talk about that. Like I said, I just try and mix it up a little bit so we don't all get stuck in the same web of what would you call it? Like as like the mainstream media, right? Meaning that they very much do the same thing with like I always say, brainwash. And repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. And so I just don't want to get caught in that same trap and give you guys the wrong idea. But if you want to talk about UFOs, definitely we'll get some UFOs and we'll mix it in and as we take phone calls. So as you know, you're welcome to talk about kind of whatever you want. This is our show. This is not my show. And that's what's up. So one more time, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Go to troubleminds.org, click the Discord link, and phone number and Discord are right on top. Okay, so we are reading the chat as well on the Discord and in all the chats out there. So I will read any relevant chats. So keep the chat coming, guys. And let's not waste any more time, shall we? Let's get to what I pulled out here to talk about. As you know, I like to keep it mostly current so that the things that we talk about maybe we can backtrack and look at some old papers and some old articles and things like this, but only as they relate to something that kind of hit the news cycle currently. That's the way I like to do it. So you get a little bit of both on this show. You get some news and you get some kind of backtrack and some other stuff. So let's start with this. And like I said, if you guys prefer, we'll go to UFOs. It's okay. It's up to you. This is, like I said, this is our show. If you want to continue talking about the UFOs and the propaganda value, no problem. You're very welcome to. But let's go here. Let's start with this. This is from livescience.com, and this is from today. This is about 12 hours ago, and the headline is this, and this kind of goes a whole bunch of different ways, right? This is one of those like rabbit hole type topics that could turn into, well, you'll see as we go. But okay, let's start here. Again, from livescience.com, headline is this: Can the universe learn? And, of course, the subheadline, a team of scientists thinks the answer is yes. All right, so what the heck does that mean, right? We'll get into some panpsychism tonight. We'll get into the Gaia hypothesis. We'll get into what this means if the universe is possibly somehow an entity in and of itself, a conscious being, as it were. So let's see what this is. There's a new study out, a scientific paper, which we can look at a little bit here. But let's read this article straight from livescience.com. A little bit of it anyway. So here we go. The universe could be teaching itself how to evolve into a better, more stable cosmos. That's the far-out idea proposed by a team of scientists who say they are reimagining the universe just as Darwin revamped our view of the natural world. The controversial new idea attempts to explain why the laws of physics are as we see them, using a mathematical framework to describe various proposed theories in physics, such as quantum field theories and quantum gravity. The result is a system similar to a machine learning program. Scientists have discovered numerous physical laws and quantities with fixed values to define the universe. From the mass of an electron to the force of gravity, there are many specific constants in the universe that seem arbitrary to some, given their precise and seemingly patternless values. Okay, so like I said, this one's a little bit dense, a little bit deep, and I like to not just take what the scientists are talking about, but also maybe turn this into a larger conversation of not just is the universe maybe conscious in and of itself and it's evolving, and oddly enough, you would expect that if the universe is an entity of sorts and is conscious in some way, and its evolution is something, you would expect that evolution is to bring about the most perfect atmosphere or planets or galaxies to host life, right? What else would, if the universe were an organism and it was sentient in some way and it was trying to form itself into the best cosmos it could, would it be doing that to support the most amount of life it possibly could? Kind of like you would expect. Well, let's just call us parasites, right? Let's just say that maybe we are what would you say? So we are like a symbiotic parasite to the universe, in that it's doing its thing in this conscious manner to bring about life, which is us. And so clearly, here we are on Earth as humans, just destroying the hell out of this planet, and just destroying, littering the hell out of the low Earth orbit and orbit. All the junk floating around Earth here, and then now we're going to go to the moon and we're going to go to Mars, and we're going to just mess all that up too, because of course that's what people do, right? And so as a result, well, it does make us a universal or a parasite to the universe in some way, does it not? That if the universe is a sentient creature and it's doing its best to evolve into the best cosmos it could be to possibly support life, and here we are doing our human things and just destroying the hell out of the planet, and then everything else, as parasites might, well, what would that make us? Intergalactic termites of sorts? I have no idea. But okay, so that's what's on deck tonight. We got a little bit of maybe some deep, contemplating your navel type talk here. But like I said, it's kind of good to get away from news cycles and the UFOs and Anderson Cooper and all the stuff that they've been talking about for the past week. So that's okay. So I'm going to do that, and we'll kind of go down that path. But like I said, this is your show too. So if you want to go back and kind of backtrack, and you think there's some things that we haven't said about the propaganda and the UFOs and that 60 Minutes art, feature with Fravor and all the UFO guys, Lou Elizondo and all that, if you think there's more to talk about there, I'm definitely open to that as well. I just I feel bad if we do the same thing several times in a row, because you guys come really not knowing what to expect. So I hope that's part of the treat of listening to this show, is that you really kind of never know what we're going to be onto. What's up? Fred says we're a virus spreading and causing problems. And I think maybe that's a good way to put it, right? And so if the universe is a conscious entity, which is the premise here, and it's trying to arrange itself in a conscious manner to bring about life, then we are that life, that it's arranged just perfectly, the Goldilocks zone and the rocky planets and the water and all the things, right? All the things that it takes to host us as life. And we are turning into the bad case of fleas, right? Like we were NS says we're more a cancer than a virus, IMO. And exactly, right? So you start to see. So if there's a larger game at play here, and if there's a conscious bit to the universe, then you got to ask, what is it doing? What is it onto? What is this about? So that's what's up. That's what's on my mind tonight. Only because, like I said, it's current. Because this article just came out 12 hours ago. I saw it this morning. Was like, perfect. Let's just talk about that and kind of get off this other UFO bit. But like I said, your show too. So still looking for you guys to call, and I'll put the phone number up, and I'll just read a little bit more about this. Now, this is interesting, right? This kind of goes back. So if the universe is a conscious entity, like I said, we'll get into panpsychism and the Gaia hypothesis and some other things that maybe suggest and corroborate this hot take from the individuals that wrote this paper, okay? But if that's the case, it kind of makes me think and go a little bit further out into maybe the old ones, right? The great old ones, the into the primordial universe of what was there, what kind of entities were actually there, shaping maybe after the Big Bang. Maybe that people say there were gods of old. Lovecraft says they're the great old ones that are so old and so ancient that to actually have a mortal lay eyes on Cthulhu, for example, a mere mortal would simply go mad just from the sight of this thing. So, kind of in that vein, that if you expect that maybe the universe is conscious in some way, that maybe there are larger entities that are steering it as part of it as well. You understand? I don't know. Like I said, just kind of some theory craft here, thinking out loud as we go through this, but there's more here. So, like we were saying from this article, livescience.com, scientists have discovered numerous physical laws and quantities with fixed values to define the universe. Like I said before, from the mass of an electron to the force of gravity, there are many specific constants in the universe that seem arbitrary to some, given their precise and seemingly patternless values. So it continues, quote, "One of the goals in fundamental physics these days is not just to understand what the laws of physics are, but why they happen to be the way they are, why they take the forms that they do," said author William Cunningham, a physicist and software lead at quantum computing startup Agnostic, with a Q, Agnostiq. And the quote continues, "There's not really an obvious reason why one set of laws would be preferred over another." So who knows, right? Like, this is the type of thing that really expands my brain and really makes me want to think about larger things than just going to Mars. Larger things than just just our galaxy. It's a wide world after all, and I mean that in the most universal way, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wink. That's what's on my mind tonight. So let's read just a little bit more of this paper, and then we'll get into the rest of the stuff as we go tonight. So to answer this question, this group of scientists wondered whether the way we see the universe today is just one way the universe has been. Perhaps the laws we see today are just one iteration of many. Perhaps the universe is evolving. In order to have a universe that evolves, the researchers proposed an idea called the autodidactic universe, a universe that is self-learning. In this case, the learning would happen similar to how a machine learning algorithm works, where feedback at one stage influences the next, where the goal of reaching a more stable energy state, right? Something like that. And so not only that, it kind of makes me think that, if we're talking about the universe as an entity and talking about like a machine learning type of organism, it kind of puts us on the fringe of the conversation of, is the universe a simulation as well? Okay, so meaning that if the universe is sentient in some way, that you might be able to expect that if somebody's behind it, let's say it's its own thing, right? It's its own living entity. That's one thing. But if there's a software developer behind it of sorts, if you want to call that God or the great old ones, or some kid in a multiverse that made us in his little sim video game, who knows? But the question there is that I think it really puts us on the periphery of that conversation as well. So I guess we may as well throw that on the table tonight as part of the conversation. Is do you think we live in a simulation as part of this conversation? Is the universe evolving? If it is, why is it evolving to create life or something else? And so anyway, yeah, that's what's up. So we'll get back to this article in a sec, because there's lots of good stuff here. There's a good little video we can watch talking about some physics and stuff. But of course, as you know, what we're going to do is we're going to take your phone calls tonight, and we're going to have a good conversation, I hope. And what's up? Fred says the force. Well, exactly. Maybe the force, right, is that binds all living things together. Let's talk about that too. All right, let's go to Robert. Let's go to Robert in Pennsylvania. What's up, Robert, my friend? How are you? Welcome to Troubled Minds. What's on your mind tonight? Oh, crap. I'm sorry, man. I muted it. Okay. I'm sorry. Go right ahead. I had you muted. It's my bad.
Living in a hologram.
Okay, so sorry about that. Again, you were muted to the crowd out there because I'm a knucklehead. But okay, so you're just. Can you say that again, Please forgive me.
Sure.
So, okay, thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about the edge of the universe. We haven't been able to see that far yet. Am I coming through now?
Perfect. I got it set up. I smashed a couple buttons on the fly here, and that was completely my fault. But your point is fantastic, and now I'm prepared because I heard it once. Just everybody else didn't. So you're right. So the edges of the universe we have not been able to detect yet. So continue with your theory there.
So the universe is not infinite. There's an edge to it, and from that edge, from that land beyond the universe, is what we live in. We're living in a hologram that's projected from there. All right, the universe is a holographic creation, and that's how I feel, and I've felt my gut since probably I was real little.
Okay, so what that means is that there is some entity beyond the edge of our universe, maybe pulling the strings like a puppet master sort of thing, right? That entity, whatever that is.
No, we are the entity.
We are
the entity.
So we are
there. We are beyond the edge of the universe, projecting ourselves into this holographic adventure.
Oh, I see. Right? I see. Okay. All right, continue.
That's us. If that were not the case, what's beyond the edge of the universe, it would be kind of boring. We're here to have adventures. We're here to entertain ourselves, all right, and to have experiences, all right, and it's just like, matter of fact, the most similar thing to that would be the old Star Trek holograph deck. All right, it's so well put together that once the guys go in there, the women and the guys go in there, all right, they lose all sense of what's real. All right, that's us. And when we pass on, when this idea of death, all right, for one thing, there is no such thing. All right, all that is that we are no longer part of the hologram. We're back where we started at the edge. All right, every single one of us are here to create. We're here to create. We're all creators. I don't care if, like your show. This is your creation. All right? And there's people on the edge of the universe who are your audience, not just this holographic audience that you have right here. There's a whole edge of the universe audience who are grading you. You're basically in school and grading your creation. And this is a good creation you put together here. All right, I imagine you're getting some pretty high marks on across the universe to that edge.
The cosmic scale. The cosmic scale. I appreciate it, Robert. That's high praise from you. We got to go to a break here, so if you want to hang on and through the break, I'd love to keep you on.
I'll hang on. I have a little bit more to say.
Okay. So hang tight. We're with Robert in Pennsylvania. I'm going to mute you. I'll come back to get you in just a couple minutes here, and we'll keep on trucking. I appreciate the call. Hang tight. Be right with you. All right. So tonight we're talking about, is the universe conscious? That's the deal. What is actually going on? And we got some scientists that have decided that it's possible that the universe is actually evolving. And that's the conversation. If you want to be part of it, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and D-Live. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're discussing a paper that just came out wherein a team of scientists believe the universe might be sentient. It might be a living organism of sorts and be evolving. The question is, if this is the case, what is it evolving for? Yeah, sometimes we go deep. Sometimes we go heavy. And that's what's on deck tonight. If you want to be part of the show, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can be on the show, just like our good friend Robert here, who was making a great point before the break. So let's go right back to Robert. Robert, welcome back to the show. Thanks for waiting, my man. Go right ahead.
Hi. Where I'm going at with this is that, not everybody's an artist, not everybody's a writer, and not everybody has a internet talk show. All right, you created that from scratch, by the way. All right, so you can't underestimate the marvel of all that. But there's also people who live simple lives. All right, like somebody who is, an alcoholic in a bar, drowning his tears, whatever things hurt him in life. He's creating a tragedy. All right, he's creating his own play, his own story. All right, and that all goes back to the edge of the universe, because that's what he was put here for, to create a story. All right, it's like what Shakespeare said. All the universe is a stage, and we are but players on it. And Shakespeare knew a lot more than a lot of people in modern today know, as far as that goes. But I'm going to talk about a dream I had, which is in itself prophetic. And that was just a few nights ago. By the way, I dream vividly. All right, and in these dreams, it's different lives. They're similar to each life is similar to the other, but different. All right, and it goes on. It can go on all night long. All right, but this dream I had, I was getting on a school bus. I was walking up the sidewalk, and I was getting on the school bus, and the bus driver stood in the entranceway and said, "You can't come on here." By the way, the bus driver looked like the old Gary Moore from the old Gary Moore show. Anyway, he said, "You can't get on here. You've already graduated." All right, and that's a profound dream to me, because it tells me, that's my interpretation of it, that I've graduated. Whatever the rest of my life goes, I've already accomplished whatever I was set here to do, to create whatever. It's all done. All right, and I've passed. All right, so I'm probably going off in a different direction. But we ask you questions too. I know you always saying, I don't have the answers, but your opinion matters to your listeners. All right, so you're hearing this gibbity goose from me. All right, and I really would like your opinion of what I just said.
Okay, so you are correct. I do have opinions as well, and I appreciate you asking me here. But let me put the disclaimer out. You got to contact your doctor before you change your diet. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, that's the wrong disclaimer. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, okay. So I really dig what you're saying here, and so it not only does it kind of fit with kind of like a larger cosmological theory with that we are here for a reason. We're not just bags of meat, kind of stumbling around the earth until we kill each other. That there's a greater meaning to all of this, okay? And some people call that God, some people call it other things. And I do like that you stated that it's coming from outside of our universe, whatever past the edges of the universe are. So to me, I think it's as solid as any, in my opinion, because there's clearly nobody knows these answers. These are really large questions. But I think in some capacity you're right, and I'm with you. And I think the creative force that people have as human beings, I think it's part of our superpower. Is that we've talked about humans having superpowers in the past, and think of it in this capacity. So you're saying that we're here to create things, and I agree with you. But think of it as part of the human brain as a construct. We're actually able to fathom a universe so large that it's unfathomable. You understand? So I think the limits and the bounds of our creation are actually unlimited. And that in itself is an unbelievable superpower. So kind of lacing it back to what you said there is that they've talked about time as an abstract, and we experience it in a flawed way as people, like I was saying a little bit earlier. That maybe this timeline has been with the expanding and contracting universe, these types of things. Maybe we're playing out these parts of this same play. Maybe this is the 10th iteration of this, and maybe we're perfecting it. Who knows? Kind of just throwing another loop into your equation there. But I do like the dream. I do like that it's oddly enough that you went to get on this bus in this dream, and you had it's basically kind of like a schoolyard simulation, right, in your dream. And so you're about to get on this bus, but I'm sorry, you're not allowed, right? You've accomplished, you've graduated, you've done whatever it is you need to do, so you're not allowed with the rest of us. Big stuff, man. I think I like your theory. It's as solid as any, in my opinion, and it's well thought out. So very, very good stuff. I appreciate it.
I'm sitting in my home. All right?
Yep.
Every time I blink, we all blink.
Okay.
There's a reason we blink. All right? It takes an enormous amount of energy to put this pretend material universe together. Or even, everything is not real. It is all energy, and we create all this. All right. When I blink, everything that exists here is gone for that fraction of a second. All right. I'm sitting here in my living room. All right. I just came off my porch after having a smoke. All right. I'm not allowed to smoke in the house. Anyway, I came off, but once I came in here, what's outside? Is it gone? It's like, the tree in the woods. Is it gone? Because I'm no longer out there. When I go out there, instantly create the environment that is out there. But once I turn my back to it and and don't need to see it, does it vanish? Is it gone? Right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that would be part of a construct that is. The universe only exists in the mind's eye and through the experience.
Right, it does, and we all do this.
Right.
It takes an enormous amount of energy, to do this. All right, that's why sometimes we think we're going to pass out from a lack of energy. But that's what aging is. All right, aging is over time having expended so much energy trying to maintain the environment that you actually create in your own mind, that over years, it drains you of so much energy that you grow old. Have you ever heard that concept?
I have, actually. And
aging?
Yeah. Well, not just that, but as part of that, there's like a finite amount of energy, and maybe you could call it the creative energy, and whatever it happens to be, it's kind of like the candle burning, right? Let's say the candle burning your soul until it's gone, and meaning it's gone, it doesn't mean it's gone. It means it's graduated, kind of like you said with the bus there. But yeah, I've heard the concept before.
Right. You see, but what we're projecting, all right, it's at the edge of the universe. All right, we're not here. We only imagine we're here. All right, we're projecting, all the physicality of our lives from that distant place, that edge of the universe. Excuse me. I'm going to change the subject just for one quick topic, and then I'll get off of here.
Sure, no problem.
I'm sure you got other callers.
No problem. Take your time, my friend.
This question of why the Air Force doesn't shoot these UFOs down. All right. For one thing, that just says that they know what they are. If they didn't know what they are, they'd shoot them down. I mean, they did try to do that in the past, but they know what they are now. Let's say that it's along what I always believed, that these are time travelers, and the Air Force knows this, and that may be the reason why they don't shoot them down. Because just like if you could take a time machine in the past and kill your own grandfather and change the future, the same is true if they shot one of them down. Because if they are us hundreds of years from now, we will be shooting down something that could change the past, change our own present. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, and I saw you make this point yesterday in the chat as well, and it does make sense to me that if this whole threat-based thing is, I think you're right. If we didn't know what they were, we might be shooting. We might be shooting from the hip. That's what people do, right? They're on a restricted airspace. Shoot first, ask questions later. So yeah, maybe, man, maybe you're onto something there. Is that as a result of them they already know what these things are, and they've become accustomed to them being there, right?
And they obviously know they're not a threat.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's not that they have overwhelming ability to destroy the planet. All right? If they could do that, they would have done that a long time. Matter of fact, they did. Like 5,000-6,000 years ago. All right, with what happened with their dropping the doggone nuclear weapons in the India and those areas around there. They've done that in the past. If they had the capability of avoiding, being a military expedition, a greedy type of infiltrator like we humans are so often, they would have done that. All right, they know that they're not that, and so you have to ask yourself, well, if they know they're not that, if they're not here to do us harm, what are they here for? All right, and the only real thing that makes sense is if they're us from hundreds of years from now. All right, coming back, checking it out. Why they stay away from us? Because they don't want to change the timeline either. And I just think that that's a good possibility. That's the reason that our military doesn't shoot them down, because they know that. And if they shoot them down, they could cause a ripple in the timeline that maybe creates an orange man.
Right, exactly. Interesting. Yeah, you kind of put that in there. No, I think you could be right. I've heard this before, and if UFOs are us from the future, and of course, right, you would expect that there would be some sort of rule, very much like Star Trek, where you couldn't disrupt the timeline if you went back, because of course there could be serious repercussions to where you live and the things you are and all that stuff.
And we could do it, and we could do it by shooting them down.
Shooting them down
and killing any of them.
Right, exactly.
Because if they died in the past, what happens to their future?
That's a hell of a question. What would be your theory?
Well, I'm going to get off.
Okay, give me your theory real quick. What would happen if you shot down a space traveler that was just doing a joyride to the past? What happens if you shoot them down in the past? What happens to their life in the future?
Well, probably they're got a GPS on them. And so let's say it's a bunch of teenagers out for a joyride, after graduation joyride from hundreds of years ago, and we shoot them down. Their parents find out, all right, and then they warn other kids to stay away from her. That's what happens. Don't go there.
Don't do that again.
Don't go there.
Don't do that, or I'm gonna whoop your ass. Yeah, all right.
Look what happened to Kayla or whatever.
Right.
You don't want to go there.
So we're the boogeyman.
And of course, they'll defy them and go. Of course, just like any other kids, they'll defy them and go there anyway.
And get shot down by the United States Air Force in 1947.
Yeah. 1947.
Exactly. Robert, you're the best.
I'm going to get off. I'm sure you got other calls, so I was pleasant talking with you.
You're the best, my friend. Thanks for the call. Great takes as always. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Thanks for listening. That's Robert from Pennsylvania, guys. And so simple as that. You want to be part of the show, you dial that phone number. We'll put you on the show. What's your theory? What is your theory on this? How about any of the things that Robert said there? I think he's on to quite a lot of stuff. And, as always, reality is one of those things that's really kind of a slippery subject to broach, because, you bring it up and you talk about things like on the quantum level, like as he was discussing there, if you turn away from something and it's no longer in your presence, does that still exist? Meaning, talking about the quantum mechanics, the particle wave duality, talking about, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make any sound if there's no one around to hear it? Things like this, right? And so science and the observer effect, the double slit experiment with particle wave duality has suggested that there's some truth to this, at least on the quantum level. And if there's any sort of mirroring right? Any sort of one thing is the same as the other thing on the macro level, then it would be similar, would it not? Where that you cannot observe something without changing it, number one. And two, the thing you are observing is one thing while you're observing it, and another thing entirely while it's not being observed. So interesting. Again, great stuff there, Robert. Lots of stuff to think about, and I hadn't even considered half the stuff he said there for the conversation tonight, which is the beautiful part of this is, like I said, we start with like a general kind of rough framed idea, and you guys fill in the blanks with some awesome takes, and that was fantastic. Thanks again, Robert. If you guys want to be part of the show, what is your thought on this? So that basically this is what we're talking about. So back to livescience.com real quick. Can the universe learn? And so a team of scientists think the answer is yes. And so what they're really going for is, here we go. One of the goals in fundamental physics these days is to not just understand what the laws of physics are, but why they happen to be the way they are, why they take the forms that they do, said author William Cunningham, physicist and software lead at quantum computing startup Agnostic. There's not really an obvious reason why one set of laws would be preferred over another. And so the implication here is that the universe is evolving its laws to what? Like I said, what would be the speculation there? If the universe is evolving as some sort of sentient creature or machine or whatever you think it might be, then what are they evolving for? I suggested life. Are they evolving to create the most hospitable places so life can be born? So life can actually have its own evolution and turn into something else. As Kelly has said in the past, is it so that we can birth the souls here on Earth in some capacity? As the energy comes through the Higgs field and turns into matter, then as our souls pass on or perish, do they pass back through the Higgs field and return to this energy or outside the universe, as maybe Robert has suggested? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here that it kind of is, it's really big stuff. And I understand if a lot of people check out and they're like, oh, MG, what is this, right? But to me, it's fascinating that the human brain can even conceive of abstract concepts like this, even denying the fact that, humans ourselves are, what would you say, I guess, insignificant compared to the power of the Force, as Darth Vader might add, right? So I don't know. Again, that's what we're talking about tonight. That's the conversation, and there's more. Let me pull up another one real quick and give you a little bit more information here. And so they're basically talking about evolution, right? And as everybody knows, we got a little bit of Darwin evolution going on here. So let me link this, and we'll talk about this a little bit, right? With evolution working on the cellular level, right? And this is Charles Darwin has suggested and done a ton of research, and many people in science accept this as fact that maybe that we are just a random working of not entropy, but a random working of, I don't know, cellular division. Anyway, in any case, let's see. As we know, right, the theory of evolution or by natural selection, first formulated by Charles Darwin's book On the Origin of Species in 1859, describes how organisms evolve over generations through the inheritance of physical or behavioral traits. Now, the theory starts with the premise that within a population, there is a variation in traits such as beak shape in one of the Galapagos finches Darwin studied. Individuals with traits that allow them to adapt to their environments will help them survive and have more offspring, which will inherit those traits. Individuals with less adaptive traits, with less frequency to survive, to pass them on, of course, will die off. Now, over time, the traits allow species to survive and reproduce what will become more frequent in the population, and the population will change or evolve. Through natural selection, Darwin suggested a diverse life form could arise from a common ancestor. And that's what we're talking about, is the universe in some capacity evolving. I think that's the conversation tonight. Like I said, it's a little bit large in scope, and that's okay because, like I said, we've kind of been talking about mainstream media and UFOs and all the rest of this. But again, like I said, if it's a little too deep or a little too rich or a little outside your taste here, we can still talk about UFOs because, of course, we have the 60-minute stuff and all of the UFO coverage that's happened this week. We did 2 shows on it already, but If you think there's more to be said, if there's some news that kind of came out today, like I said, I had family in town, so I haven't really been paying too close attention today to see if any more news came out regarding the UFO stuff. But again, if you want to talk about that, or you're interested in that, or you think there's some takes that we need to hear, no problem. As part of this show, like I said, it's not just my show, this is your show as well. So if you want to talk about those things, you're in the right place. One more time, it's 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org, and get your ass in here. Come say hi, and what do you think about this stuff? Is it far-fetched that that the universe could be sentient, that it could be evolving? We'll get back to that article in a little bit as we kind of start the top of the hour here. Like I said, the radio format is kind of so that people come in and out, they hang out for 15 minutes and bounce and then show up somebody else. So we'll kind of recircle back to that to reframe the conversation at the top of the hour. But again, we're taking all comers on the phone lines here or on Discord. And what do you think? Do you think that the universe is in some capacity sentient, and that it's evolving to maybe allow for the most life possible? And if so, do you think that it's succeeded by creating humans and by creating people? And right? So as I described as we began this tale tonight, maybe we are a virus. Or cancer, as somebody has suggested, a cancer to the universe, right? I have a hard time really saying that, but I can take both the positive and the negative take here. It's no problem. But anyway, as we continue talking about this, doing our thing, hanging out, you know the drill. You know the drill. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange, and this is our conversation. So we'll take this wherever we want to take this, and that's what's up. That's what's on deck tonight. Again, UFOs, if you want to talk about it, or how about the universe is a sentient creature, and it is evolving to do what? Again, I'm not the answers guy. I'll tell you my opinion, but I don't know. These are big ass questions. These are big old questions, and sometimes we gotta talk about it to kind of cleanse the palate from the terrible media stuff we always talk about. So yeah, that's the deal. Again, I'm Michael Strange. This is Troubled Minds. We're hanging out talking about UFOs, or is the universe conscious, or somewhere in between. We could kind of talk about all the rest of it, meaning do we live in a simulation? As Robert suggested, are we projecting ourselves from outside the boundaries of the known universe? That's the deal. I don't know. You don't know. But we're going to get together and talk about it anyway. One more time, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. More of this conversation after the break. Secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. Asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I make sure I'm actually out there broadcasting because, well, sometimes I hit the wrong button. But yeah, welcome to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. Of course, this is the show where we talk about all the things you're not allowed to talk about. Those things being, of course, aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. We are streaming on DLive, Facebook, and YouTube. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. If you want to be part of the show tonight, give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord at troubledminds.org and be part of the show that way as well. Discord is a chat client, a voice client, and it's free. If you have an internet connection, it is completely free. So there we go. All right, so there we are. The conversation tonight is this. There's an article that came from Live Science. From Live Science. And the headline is this. Can the universe learn? And a team of scientists thinks the answer is yes. And here we go. So just the top paragraph to kind of reframe the conversation here and catch some people up that are just showing up. The universe could be teaching itself how to evolve into a better, more stable cosmos. That's the far-out idea proposed by a team of scientists who say they are reimagining the universe just as Darwin revamped our view of the natural world. The controversial new idea attempts to explain why the laws of physics are as we see them, using a mathematical framework to describe various proposed theories in physics, such as quantum field theories and quantum gravity. The result is a system similar to a machine learning program. And as you know, we've kind of discussed the simulation theory and how that kind of fits into maybe a whole bunch of different worldviews. The actual Matrix, just like the Matrix movies. But okay. So anyway, let's go to. We have Todd. We have OG Todd, the very first guy. He was actually the second guy, for being accurate. The very second guy to ever listen, watch the show. He was there at the very first episode. OG Todd, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you tonight? Welcome to Troubled Minds.
I'm good, thanks, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. What is on your mind tonight? What do you think about all this universe is possibly conscious and evolving? Do you think it's a reach, or you think there's something to this?
Well, I'll start off with the universe is mental. It's from the Kabbalion. They say that the universe is a collective of every living consciousness. So, do I believe it? I think it might be something that I wouldn't exactly say conscious, but I would say a collective of consciousnesses, all pulled together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so sort of like Yoda would describe the Force. So it's like it's sort of like these invisible strings that may not be alive in and of themselves, but they link us together, and that link creates the consciousness of the universe, right? Something like that?
Kind of, but more of a how can I put this? It's not really a feeling, it's a consciousness, like a thought. Maybe one person's thought mixes in with another person's thought, and it gives another person somewhere else an idea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's all interconnected, but not like you can't really feel it, but it's out there. And if two people's ideas come together in that collective consciousness, it can pop up in somebody else's mind as a new idea.
Yeah, so actually, that's very much what Nikola Tesla actually described as and how it's been said that these ideas can be, quote, in the air, like how a new invention is about to happen. It's on the minds of people, and so because it's on the minds of people, it kind of manifests itself from the thoughts of people kind of thinking the same thing. Yeah, that's
exactly what I was thinking.
Okay,
but I don't think it's conscious in a sense that it thinks or feels. Like it's just something we can't comprehend because it's so vast. And just the simple thought of millions of minds, even animal minds, like every single thought that a living creature has is all interconnected, all interwoven into that one consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it can think for itself. It's just like a kaleidoscope of thoughts.
Okay,
but it doesn't have its own.
Yeah. So if there was no life in the universe is just a void. It's just devoid of life, devoid of consciousness. Period. Because interesting. So what you're saying now is that we provide the consciousness of the universe to the universe. So
Exactly.
interestingly, what you were basically describing kind of actually coincides with what Robert described in the first call there, saying that we are projecting ourselves from outside this universe into the universe, thereby giving the consciousness the whole thing. It kind of fits, man. It's not the same, but it's a similar thought.
But he was more saying that it's different from what I'm saying, is what I'm trying to say.
It's close. It's close. It's close, man. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to try and marry these ideas. They can be separate ideas. But okay, so all right. So then, so if we have this consciousness together, do you believe that if the universe is evolving, it's based on our consciousness, based on what we want from the universe? So do you think that, let's say the powers of many consciousness together could actually create this evolution of the universe, like is described in the scientific paper? What do you think about that?
I think it's possible in a sense, but it wouldn't be. It would be like I was saying. It would become an idea or a happening, I guess you could say, like something that spontaneously creates itself out of those collected thoughts. So yeah, I don't know about the universe evolving, though. I think the universe has been here billions, trillions of years. Nobody knows exactly how long. So nobody knows how long it's been sucking in thoughts of humans, other animals, other beings on other planets. Like, there's no possible way to comprehend that. And there's no possible way to comprehend if it was evolving, because we are so minute in that consciousness.
Agreed. These are huge thoughts. Don't you think it's amazing, though, and part of what I was saying about this whole conversation, is that the human consciousness is at least, even though we're just in these puny meat suits, we're able to, through our brain and these higher levels of understanding, even entertain these thoughts. Even like you said, they are too large. Our consciousness is a drop in the bucket, proverbially, as like nothing, basically. But we're still able to consider the vastness of these thoughts and the vastness of the universe and the multiverse and everything else. I think that's part of this, as part of what he was also saying, what Robert was saying, as part of the creativeness of the individual. It's limitless, meaning that the universe is kind of our oyster in some sense, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Any other thoughts on this while we got you on tonight?
No. I basically said what I wanted to say.
Okay, I appreciate it. Again, I gotta gush. I gotta brag on Todd. This is OG Todd for the people that don't know. He doesn't call in often, but I promise you, there were two dudes. I remember the very first two guys that showed up in our chat when we first streamed the very first Troubled Mind stream. It was Richie was the first one. Todd was the second one there that said hi in chat. So when I say OG Todd, this is the guy I'm talking about. So Todd, thanks for being part of this for such a long time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for contributing tonight. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
No problem.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks a lot. There you go. OG Todd. So now you guys know you're in on the joke. When I say OG Todd, he's the guy we're talking about. All right. So let's go to Derek in Wisconsin. Derek in Wisconsin. What's up, my friend? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, man. You're coming through. That's 2 in a row, man.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. How are you tonight?
All right. Awesome. Yeah, our last caller, I have to say, he has a great voice. And just him speaking out, and he was talking about connecting. Sometimes, two people will connect, and then an idea will happen or something. And I was just hoping somebody would call in first, because I thought someone is going to call in hopefully before me and give me an idea as to what, I could talk about, because I wasn't coming up with anything. Usually I have something to talk about. And he brought up some stuff about awareness, and it made me think. For a time I was sober, and I would be in situations where I'd be around people who were drinking or people who were smoking or whatever. And the strange thing was my senses were so acute at that point. For some reason, I felt myself becoming inebriated to the point of where, I would go to the bathroom and I'd look at my eyes and I would be like, oh my God, these bags under my eyes, what's going on? And it wasn't like I was really exposed to that much secondhand smoke or anything, but it was just like being around that kind of field, that awareness of people who were actually, inebriated somehow was affecting me. And I know it sounds really strange, but it's like when I do become sober, it's like I can tell like when people are drunk or when they're high or whatever around me without even really, being around, I don't even know who they are or whatever, but it's like I can sense it. I can like feel it in my system, almost like to the point of where that part of the person who's inebriated, that person is somehow that part of themselves, like connecting with the part of me that is so used to being drunk or high or whatever. That's like I can connect with that kind of vibration, and I know like, whoa, my body goes to that vibration, to match that vibration that person is at. So it's just kind of strange, like that awareness itself might just be kind of a field, and we're just like receptors to whatever's around us in our immediate environment, and whatever our stimuli is taking in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So actually, you made this point once before when you called in, and we made the joke in the chat. It's like a contact high, right? But it's not like it's not a physical thing. It's more of like their energy, their level of consciousness. If they're high, or if they're if they're depressed, or if they're extremely happy, or whatever it is, whatever the state of being is, that it's able to somehow. You are a receptor of that as well, as part of what Todd was saying there, is that we're connected in that way.
Yeah.
The consciousness is so maybe the universe itself isn't the consciousness.
That's
we are. Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that's why I think things like the thing that was happening last year or whatever that was keeping everybody apart, that was kind of keeping people from experiencing those situations that are good, where people get together and they all experience like a good situation, like going to a concert or going to a ball game or even to church or anything. People couldn't get together to kind of congregate and, be in that kind of a loving energy for a long time. So I'm just glad everything is kind of hopefully opening up now, where people can get together and experience those things, and people can energetically find their communities, so to speak. You can kind of feel people out and be like, well, I don't know if I should, I think that's part of our spidey sense too, where it's like, oh, I don't know if I should talk to that person. I'm going to walk across the street or something, almost like you can sense their energy. So I think it's all part of the whole thing about learning how to, open up and just become part of the universe itself. Because the more that you give in and like, basically look at it like, okay, there is something looking out for us. It's like the more you can kind of be yourself and kind of open up, because you're not as worried anymore about dying, because you're like, okay, it's all part of this process. So it's like, why should I walk around being in a shell and trying to protect myself energetically from everybody? I might as well try to just open up and just be free.
And
the more people that will open up and be free, I think higher the vibrational raise up. You know what I'm saying? So
there you go.
Fear is the enemy.
Fear, I agree. Like I said, I'm not afraid. Like whatever it is, I'm not afraid. Like there's a lot of things that you can be afraid of in this world, but I think being just in a state of I'm ready for whatever comes is it's empowering. And not only is it that, it's like you said, it helps raise the vibration of people around you, and it maybe helps remove that fear mechanism that we have that's kind of holding us down. I appreciate the call, my friend. I got a call right behind you, so we got to go. Do you have any final thought while we got you on the phone?
I just want to say too real fast, like your show especially is one of those things where it's like people can call in and kind of voice their opinions about these things, because a lot of times people can't talk about these subjects in an open forum, without sounding like you're nuts. So I just wanted to say thank you for what you do, Mike. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
I appreciate it. You too. And thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Great thoughts as always. That's Derek from Wisconsin. Appreciate that, my friend. So again, if you guys want to be part of the show, we're taking phone calls tonight. We're talking about the consciousness of the universe. There's a paper that came out from some fine, smart scientists out there, and it was reported on livescience.com today. This is brand new today. And so they're saying that, can the universe learn? Is it conscious in some way, and is it evolving? And so I added the question to that: if it's evolving, what is it evolving for? To create life, to create entropy, as some have expressed, or how science might explain. But what does it mean to you? Is this a thought so foreign that it's not worth talking about, or is it? again, we're taking all calls, or if you want to just cut straight to the UFO news this week, we can do that as well. But taking your phone calls at 702-957-1037. Join the Discord. You can find the phone number and the Discord link at troubledminds.org. And let's go to the next phone call. I appreciate you calling in. You are on Troubled Minds with Mike. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Derek, the Night Stalker.
I thought so. What's up, my man? How are you?
What's happening? I'm at work, so I got to try to be brief.
Okay, go for it.
And this is a very complicated topic, obviously. But to make like a long story short, what I think the universe, like essentially the universe is experiencing itself in infinite ways through infinite prisms, which is what we are. And I don't believe time exists in the way we perceive it. We perceive events taking place one after the other, but in reality, I think every event has already taken place. So we're not really creating anything per se, but besides complexity within the monad, it's called like the neutral monad. It's like not necessarily a sentient thing, but it's like the all above. Like it's the totality of all existence in the universe, and then so it's like we are consciousness experiencing itself as human beings, like a tree would be like a consciousness experience of the tree, or a dog, or an alien, or a Lovecraftian old one. And I think like the way I think about it is, like, as far as life on this planet is concerned, the way that it's kind of if you believe in like the way evolution talks about it, that it's going from least complexity to most complexity. So if you visualize like a plant, or like so like take a plant that comes into form, and it reaches it creates form, it comes into form, it experiences what's in its environment, and then it dies, and it can't move around or anything like that. And then after plants are created, then they create like like animals are created, and the animals, they come into form and they experience their environment, but they can move around. They have legs, so that's consciousness on the move, experiencing on the move, creating more complexity. And then you create human beings, and we can think about ourselves. We can like form complexities based on like observation and reflection within this environment. So like it keeps on like increasing complexity, and then like McKenna talks about this, that the singularity, this transcendental point at the end of time, is where infinite complexity meets like perfect harmony. It's kind of where like everything has been done, kind of. So it's a tough thing to like kind of wrap your head around, but that like so free will still exists because of the idea of infinite. Like, because there are infinite possibilities, then you can essentially like experience any of those infinite possibilities. And that's like the whole secret idea. What it's really trying to say is whatever, like, for lack of a better term, like frequency you're aligning to would be the reality that you're experiencing, and one of infinite realities. And just because consciousness is trying to experience itself in infinite possible ways, you know. So in order to do that, so I picture it like a screensaver on a computer, like with a little like colored ball that drops down, and every time it hits a wall, it just splits into two. Every time, like, the balls hit each other, those split into two. So one ball comes down, bounces, hits two. Those two bounce around, creates 4 and 8 and 16. Before you know it, like, you have a whole crazy mess of ball. Like, it's unbelievably complex. Like, and that's kind of what I think is going on here. But but we experience it like it's becoming more complex. But in reality, it is what it is. It's like a shape. We're just experiencing kind of every angle of it, or it's experiencing every angle of itself, but like not like we do it. It's tough to explain. It's not like a sentient thing. They call it the neutral monad. It's just the entirety of everything.
So is that God?
That makes sense.
Is that God, or is that something else? How do you quantify that entity or whatever it is?
Yeah, I think you can call it God or source or the universe or consciousness or whatever. But like, and then you can get into like different things. So Gnosticism says that like the Christian God, the Abrahamic God, is a lesser God underneath that. So it's to us, it's God-like, the same way we're gods to ants or whatever, or where Cthulhu would be like a god to us or whatever. But it's creating a realm within the all. That's just consciousness experiencing itself as a god, or consciousness experiencing itself as Cthulhu, or consciousness experiencing itself as a worm. you know, and then like, yeah, that's essentially it. It kind of takes the, so like synchronicity and like kind of like the way events seem to be unraveling in your life is based on like kind of the that's kind of what karma is the momentum you're taking kind of around that all, like you're just the way, the trajectory of how you're experiencing it. But if you can adjust yourself, align yourself to what you really want, then you get that feeling of synchronicity, like you're moving tracks, like you're moving to a different momentum, you know, and you visualize that as like, whoa, it's working for my benefit or whatever. In the same way for like the opposite, like everything fell apart because you like unbeknownst to yourself, you aligned yourself with a worse reality, and that's what you're experiencing. But like it hasn't been put on you. You're doing it. But I think like creativity is super important because we're trying to create infinite complexity. So you need to have like the last two calls we're talking about, one person interacting with another person to create more complexity, you know? And then like it kind of leaves the door for like technology and AI, because that's just the next step in complexity. It's what if we had all knowledge, or what if we weren't kind of bogged down by trying to like stay alive? What kind of complexity if we were constant creation mode, what would we be creating, you know? And that's kind of like what, from our perspective, we're working towards. But it all already happened. It's done already. Like,
we're just kind of putting. It's okay. We're just kind of putting salt on the dish and creating more complexity to the timeline that's already happened, of sorts. It's complicated, man. This is complicated.
We're experiencing it as something that's happening, as creating, as one event after the other, but that's not like what it is. Like the way Carl Sagan talks about like how a 2D shape would visualize a 3D environment or whatever, or how like if a round apple was like a spherical apple was to like try to come in contact with a flat square, the flat square wouldn't have no frame of reference for what that apple is. It would only see it as a series of slices as the apple passes through its field, you know? And that's those slices are our events, our time, like our events of our life. But in reality, the whole apple already exists. But I hear the music, so I'll let you go. Later, Mike. Thank you.
Derek, you're the best. I appreciate the call. That's Derek from Massachusetts. You can find him on Fringe Chat on the Discord there under the name Night Stalker. That was deep stuff. That was amazing, and we'll discuss that as we come back. The conversation tonight is, of course, the universe. Is it possible that it's sentient in some way? Is it evolving? And if it's evolving, what is going on? Lots here. Again, great call, Derek. Thanks for the great calls tonight. You guys are expanding my consciousness. I appreciate it a lot. This is Troubled Minds, 702-957-1037. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We are streaming on DLive, YouTube, and Facebook. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we are discussing, is the universe conscious? A study has come out by some scientists and reported on Live Science Today. Can the universe learn? And as a result, is it conscious and is it evolving? And if that's the case, what does that mean? What is it evolving for? Do we have a place in that? And big questions tonight. If you have ideas on this, you want to be part of this, we got a couple calls we're going to go right to, but you can give us a call at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And troubledminds.org, the official website. Click the Discord link. You can join the show that way as well. Let's do it. We got a couple calls. Let's go straight to them. Sometimes it's weird, right? You do some of these shows and you're like, it's always like the fear, like kind of the dread fear in you that you're like, all right, well, this show is fascinating to me, but is it going to resonate, or do people care about this stuff? And holy crap, you guys are delivering. Talk about great calls tonight. Speaking of great calls, what's up, Paul from New Hampshire? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Mike. Great kind of theory going on tonight, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of weird that this is all been happening. And is the universe going to evolve? I have questions for you tonight before I go on my little rant, as you know I'm going to. before I get to my questions, I'd just like to say that I think we've all been here to the point where, we have these ideas, we talk about these things, we spread them. And then you look at a guy like me, who's just some, crazy guy in a field in New Hampshire that just happened to have got cut off of YouTube tonight and Facebook. And why? I have no idea. All I know is that I went 5 times live tonight to bring up a valid question, to tell my thoughts on the latest news cycles, on kind of what you're talking about, by the way. I mean, because if we're going to talk about this, we have to talk about the universe and the fact that extraterrestrial life, there's a higher intelligence somewhere. You want to get a religion and all that, I get it, but I mean, let's just look at the next planetary system closest to us, and then when we have the proof laid out in front of us, they lie about it. And then when somebody comes along like me and says, or you, we get censored. And this is my question to you. Have you gone as much as what I've gone through lately to get this stuff out there? I mean, I get it. You're on the mainstream now, brother. Kudos to you, and you do a great job at it. But what does it take for you to get to the point where people are actually going to take you seriously and not shut you down? What platforms do you need to get out there?
To be perfectly honest, I think it's time to get off of platforms. It's time to go to places like minds.com. I think it's time to go to places like, I hate to say it, Rumble, places like BitChute. And this is unfortunate that, so I know what you're asking me, and I'm going to address the rest of it in a sec, but just the platforms, it's time to get off the ones that are censoring us, because at some point, I fully expect to be taken off YouTube and be taken off of Facebook. And again, like we don't do anything offensive here. I try very hard to not really stoke the fires. I mean, the mainstream media does enough of that, right? They're flinging poo at us all the time. And so, I don't think it's necessary for us. But the problem with that is that not everybody sees it that way. I'm trying to have a good, honest conversation and just, try and figure things out. But they don't see it that way. They want the monopoly on their truth, and if I, impinge on that in any way, they're gonna shut me down. So, as part of it, we've been through our struggles. So, you think maybe I got it figured out because I'm still doing this, right? No, I mean, it's a lot of practice. I'll give it that. This is the 3rd year. I've had a lot of practice on a microphone, so I better be okay, or what the hell am I doing? But I still think there's ways to dodge it, but I don't think you can persist that way forever. They're going to come get you. As the net tightens, they're going to get all of us and peel us off. So when I said unfortunately you have to go to places like BitChute and things like that, I say that because they, a lot of the despicable people, right? A lot of the really terrible ideas have run off and gone to those places as well. So it's kind of like it ends up being an unfortunate cesspool of sorts, and so you have to go kind of be part of that, even though it may not be your message, So anyway, that's just my thought on that. But I don't think there's any magic pill, man. I think you have to kind of go with it. And look, radio is an amazing platform. So look at all the great conversations we have, and we don't have to be controversial at all. And I think it's probably a viable option at some point, because doing just audio is valuable because people can do 2 things at once. You can be gardening or washing the dishes and just listening to a radio show, right? You can be productive. Like Beechwood calls in, he's working in his garage listening to the show, So that's why I've always loved it. You can do 2 things at once. But so point being, long story short, yes, you were correct. They're going to pinch us off. I don't know what to do about that long term, other than try and create other platforms or move off to maybe audio only. That would be my only suggestion. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead with the rest. I'm sure you got some more.
No, thank you, Mike. And that's, I think, yeah. And, I think listening to you talk about these things has really, put me in this direction that this is exactly what we need to do. But unfortunately, I think you've said it, you don't want to use these derogatory terms where we're, a cesspool or whatever. It's the back of the, back burner. We're in the what do you want to call them? The alleyway now, talking about these things. And as you also brought up, just such a great point is that we're not being derogatory or this. We're having great conversations about these things, bringing up valid points that we need to talk about these things when you have the mass media and mainstream people shutting us down because we do this. And that happened to me tonight, and it's so frustrating. So I think this kind of all comes into what we're talking about here. Whereas, is the universe evolving? No, it seems to me like it's devolving. We are getting to the point now where it's getting worse than it was. At least at one point, there were people that were out there talking about these things that were well respected, no matter who called them crazy. And now all it takes is one person, such as Anderson Cooper or Tucker Carlson or whoever it is talking about these things now, that's going to say, well, you're the drunk guy in the field of New Hampshire. And the minute you bring them up and try and fight and then bring your point that doesn't fit their narrative, just like kind of what's going on in the government right now. Narrative doesn't work. What are we going to do? We're going to shut it down. Hey, wear a mask, and if you don't, we're going to hate you. If you see somebody wearing a mask, well, you can't hate them. It just is a nonstop rhetoric of do what we tell you, not what we believe, because of money and control. And how do we evolve through this as a universe? I mean, how does it happen when you have 7 billion people on the planet? And it seems to me, if you go by math, 90% of those people are being controlled by mass media and lies and just disinformation. And then you have the people that are out there doing this late at night like us that are sitting here thinking about these things, Mike, and really being affected by them, being, I shouldn't say controlled, more enlightened by them to make us do these things and continue to do them. And kudos to you for saying those things and doing it and putting up with this stuff, because, I'm getting to the point after 20 years that it just continues to be an ongoing battle that I don't think any of us can ever win.
Agreed, man. So join the club. You're not the first one to be censored. It's been happening to us for a long time in multiple ways. Join the club. Be honored that they're hearing you, and what you're saying means enough for them to shut it down. So nice work, my friend. Join the club. I got to go because we got 2 more calls behind you. Everybody follow New Hampshire UFO Hunter. New Hampshire UFO Hunter. This is Paul from New Hampshire. I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Always pleasure. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Great call. Great call. All right, we're still doing this. 2 more calls. We're going to keep on trucking. We got time for you. 702-957-1037. 702-957-1037. Let's go to, let's say this is Matt in California. Am I right? Who am I speaking with?
Oh, hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. How's it going? Yeah, I'm Matt in California.
I got it. Matt in California. What's up? What's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. Good show tonight, and the last couple nights good shows, and tonight's good show. And the people calling in tonight are like really on fire tonight. So thank you guys for calling in and talking about collective consciousness and everything like that. So I just wanted to add talk about Gaia theory, if that's okay.
You got it. I've actually got it on deck here that I was going to cover it. But yeah, go ahead. The Gaia hypothesis, right?
Okay, so Gaia theory is like the Earth is alive, so like everything has a spirit, everything's alive. And the Earth is alive, so you think of like the land and the mountains is like its skin, the trees are its lungs, and the rivers are its veins. So that kind of, like if you look into that Gaia theory, we kind of what we're talking about tonight, like the universe being alive. Maybe we could like compare the two and talk about like that. And so what I wanted to say, because you asked what if it was true, if the universe is alive like that, if it's true, what does that mean? Where it's going, and I kind of believe I don't really know how to say or what it's called, but it's like when your body is your body when you're in pain, it like your body's like trying to constantly like go back to neutral, like trying to constantly heal itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, back to just a state of being without challenges. I got you.
Yeah. So like if you get a cold, like your body fights it. If you have pain, your body's always fighting it. And so it's kind of one of those things like, like what do you do when you get a cold? You have a fever, your body raises its body temperature. And then there's that joke, you want to throw in what's global warming. Haha. The Earth is trying to...
The world has the
Earth is trying to
flu.
get rid of us.
It's trying to get rid of us, trying to shake us off like a bad case of fleas. I stole that from Clyde Lewis, by the way. But okay. So I understand what you're saying here. So we're in a sense we might be the flu to the Earth, and so the Earth, the symptoms are it's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to do its best to get rid of us. Yeah, that's a hell of a thought there, man.
Yeah, but then going to like the universe, like the whole universe, if it's trying to become like a state of being a neutral state, maybe it's going in the right direction. It's going to correct itself.
Right. Well, I think that's
ending on a good point tonight.
yeah. So I think that's the case here. Is that so? The Gaia hypothesis is probably a little bit older than that, meaning that this was academic when I was a youngster in college, and so they were describing the Gaia hypothesis is similar to what you're saying. Is that the Earth is an organism. And it's not maybe like a literal organism, like you said, like maybe the rivers or its veins and the blood and this type of thing. But it's a self-regulating organism, meaning that it will actually, if for instance, if there's too much CO2, it will regulate itself and more plants will grow and produce more oxygen and continue to keep this balance, right? Is that it will self-regulate and it doesn't give a damn about us or the life on it. It's going to do what it needs to do to keep the balance happening on the Earth itself. And it fits right in with what you're saying, just kind of a different way of saying it.
Correct. I'm talking about the Earth, but the universe itself, trying to talk about what the topic is, how the universe is alive.
Exactly.
Maybe we have to look at that to see it better.
Yeah, just kind of
you put it exactly the right way.
Yeah, right.
Thanks, Mike. I just want to throw it out there. Thank you.
I appreciate the call.
Hey, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the call. That's Matt from California. He left Oregon. He's in California. So simple as that. We got phone calls tonight, guys. Like I said, it worries me sometimes when we start a show and I'm like, oh God, this is not going to resonate. Watch this. I'm going to be rambling on about the consciousness of the universe, and everybody's going to be out there shaking their head, going, "Damn it, Michael Strange, what are we doing here tonight?" And that's not the case. We have phone call after phone call after great phone calls. Thank you, guys. 702-957-1037. Got some more time for you and a third hour coming up. Let's go to Beechwood. Probably working in his garage listening to the show. Beechwood, you're on the show with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing good. Busy, working like a dog.
Right.
But I was listening to the other shows in the week. I wasn't able to call, but good shows. But tonight, I mean, if the universe, I think the universe is devolving. I think it's shrinking. I don't think it's getting better. But if it were alive and able to evolve, evolution adaptation is caused by surroundings. So that would make me think that the universe exists within something else. Or there's the possibility with consciousness that, someone mentioned we are the consciousness of the universe. We are part of the universe because we're in it. When the Big Bang happened, they said everything went outwards really fast. Some people think it's going to go inwards really fast. But if the evolution thing is true, we're either part of the universe or we're the disease thing. And I don't really see a middle ground on that. But I think there's multiple universes, and I think they intertwine with each other. Human beings, we can create our own worlds in our minds. We can create them on paper. We can't go there physically. We can go there mentally. So it's hard to say, does that exist or does it not exist? We could just be the consciousness of a higher being. All those possibilities are good. But you could talk about that. There's really endless possibilities with that. But I wanted to talk a little bit, too, about a ways back we were talking on your show about UFOs hitting the mainstream media and how a few people said they thought it was going to happen, and now like it's happening. It's mainstream everywhere. I hear everybody talking about it. Like my aunts were talking about it, and they don't touch that stuff. So if people like that are talking about it, to me, it shows me that it's really out there. And one of the things that we were talking about with that is, with that particular situation, you have so many options if you're in control. If you can feed the people and they buy the media, you could play. It's like you got dealt 5 aces, and you can play them any way you want. You're always going to win. And it's going to be trendy. It's going to be very, very trendy, and they're going to try to sell it in a way. And the truth, some of the truth is going to be in there, but you're going to have to learn to pick out the parts that are true and where the lies are. It's going to be a marketing scheme, I think. But I also think, there's truth to it. I just don't think the main general public is going to get the real story. And, that's just the way it is. Yeah. And I think of things like with like aliens and UFOs, one of the questions is like, if you met an alien, you could ask him one question, what would you ask him? And like me, I wouldn't ask him anything. I would lie and ask him, what do you want to ask me? Because I would try to, that's how I would try to say, I was here first. I've been waiting for you. I'm more evolved. You asked me the question. And then by doing that, I would hope that he would spill his guts to me by accident. But wait. That's how the government.
Wait, have you? You're telling me you set up the Jedi mind trick to trap the alien when he shows up?
Oh, absolutely! I'm going to tell him I was waiting for him. Like, you're late. Where have you been?
Nice.
And it could work. But it's what we've talked about channeling on the show too. I take up like hobbies. I love my hobbies. Whatever I take up, I do it for like 6 months, a year, and then it blows up mainstream, and it makes it like not fun for me anymore. And it's actually happening right now. I'm not going to mention what it is on the show yet, but it's popped up in the news, and it's going to be like just a trend, just a business trend. But yeah, that's all. Good show, awesome calls.
Yeah, great calls tonight.
Yeah,
we're definitely on fire. Did you hear that Demi Lovato has her own UFO show coming out, by the way? Speaking of going mainstream.
I did hear a lot of stuff about her. We were actually talking about her today at work, painting. And she's trying to save her career, I think. But
yeah,
I call Demi Lovato a puppet. I know she's talented. But people in that industry, in her position, they're owned. It's like her, Britney, the Lindsay Lohans, Olsen twins. You just name any of them. Most of them started in Disney. They're owned. They're censored. They don't have freedom of speech. Even a guy like Joe Rogan doesn't say everything he really wants to.
Well, you can't. You can't. I don't, because you can't. You just can't. Like literally, if I spent 10 minutes saying all the things I really think, we get taken down. So you have to be able to hedge the words. And I'm not lying to you by holding things back. I just kind of have learned how to navigate and not get banned. That's all. The things I believe, I'm still saying. It's just you have to be very roundabout in the ways you bring them up. That's all. Which is, again, right, part of the shtick is if you're the UFO guy, you get a little more leeway. Right, that's kind of the shtick, because he's a nut. He believes in UFOs anyway. Ignore all the other things he's saying about the Fourth Amendment. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, I appreciate the call. So, did you like the shout out? Let me ask you: were you actually working in your garage tonight, listening to the show?
I don't know. You can see me, can't you? I am in the garage. And,
I knew it.
I emptied out the van. And it looks like I backed the van up to the garage and just slammed the brakes on.
Nice.
I got so much stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I was just kind of saying that the radio is the medium where you can kind of do a couple things at once. Like I said, I could do the dishes and listen to the radio, and I bet Beechwood's in his garage right now listening to this show. And sure enough, There you go. The consciousness or the universe experiencing itself through Mike's and Beechwood's consciousness. I appreciate the call tonight. Thanks for listening, my friend. Anything else while we got you on the phone?
All right, my man. No, just that the consciousness, the people that it's like me and a couple other people, and that's the consciousness you're living in. And when we leave, that's it. It's over. Everything frees. Time and motion stops. But I don't know. I might come back for a second trip. So
okay, you know what to do. We got a third hour coming. We got a third hour coming. You got you're due a second trip if you want to call, and coming back for a second trip. I understand. Wink, wink. We'll catch you soon. Thanks for calling tonight, my friend. We'll talk to you probably.
All right, my man.
Probably next week. Have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you, man.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks, Beechwood. There you go. Great calls tonight. I don't even know where to go with this because, like I said, you guys have basically changed the paradigm tonight. I like I said, part of the beauty of this show, and it's always been, is that we start in one place and we end up somewhere completely different based on who calls and what you want to talk about. And tonight, all of you guys have blown my mind. We've had amazing call after amazing call after amazing call, and I got through like three of the articles I wanted to get through, and that's perfect. Okay, that's exactly the way this show is designed. If nobody calls, I'll just keep on trucking. I got tons more material and content that's kind of related we can talk about. But you see what happens when we get a bunch of people together that have these ideas, these amazing big ideas that we can get together and talk and learn and just have a good time. And that's what this is about. And again, thank you all for being part of this. Thanks for listening and all that good stuff. Let's play this outro music. Let's do it. That's the one. That's the final outro music. Now, this is the thing, right? We do this show, Troubled Minds, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And we do it on D-Live. We do it on Facebook. We do it on YouTube. And we broadcast live on the Fringe FM. And it's a conversation. Like I always say, this is not my show. This is our show. And you see what happens when we get together. And I just toss an idea out. We hit it like piranha. And look what happens. An unbelievable wealth of information coming from you guys, and that's what this is about. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for participating. Thanks for listening. Thanks for all the amazing phone calls. You know the deal. We got tomorrow. We'll have Conspiracy News with Michael Strange, 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch if you want to meet us over there. And otherwise, have a great weekend. And be sure, be strong, be true. Stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. I think he's on. I'm not sure. If not, we have one more hour of Troubled Minds on D-Live, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll see you there. Thanks for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. All right, so welcome back to Troubled Minds. You guys know the deal. This is time to let the hair down, and we're off the radio. No commercials or no Big Brother breathing down our neck, except for the other Big Brother breathing down our neck. You know what I'm saying? Those guys out there that are, what are they doing? They're transcribing every word as we say them in real time. But all right, so this conversation continues, and we're talking about this. This is what started this all. It started this cascade of calls tonight, which has been, just like I said, amazing call after amazing call after amazing call. The universe has aligned to somehow continue this conversation in a positive manner. I mean, we even got. I mean, let's be real here. We got OG Todd to call in and be civil and not drop a single F-bomb. I'm telling you, the universe must be favoring us tonight, let's say. Again, thanks, Todd, for the great call. Thanks, everybody else, as well. I just got to rib Todd a little bit because we always give each other a little bit of shit here and there. So the deal is this. What are we doing? Kelly says, hell yeah, pants off. Hell yeah. All right. So let's see. What do we got? Good stuff. Arcane says every toilet in the U.S. test positive for the thing. What's up, Anton? You out of here? You out of here, buddy? We're still doing this. Rohan's about to call. We got more phone calls coming. I got a feeling that this conversation is going to continue here. Can the universe learn? A team of scientists thinks the answer is yes. And so the universe could be teaching itself how to evolve into a better, more stable cosmos. That's the far-out idea proposed by a team of scientists who say they are reimagining the universe just as Darwin revamped our view of the natural world. The controversial new idea attempts to explain why the laws of physics are as we see them using a mathematical framework to describe various proposed theories in physics, such as quantum field theories and quantum gravity. The result is a system similar to a machine learning program. So that's the deal here. What's going on with this? Is this legitimate? You think this is just academic BS of them, kind of doing their thing and, needing papers to graduate and crap like this? Or do you think there's something to this? Do you think that, always as I say that we live in this form of the upside down, maybe this is it. Maybe the entire thing is that we have that this is the reality, and we're just pawns or plebs or useless eaters or whatever it is we always say about this, is that part of this is not really the real thing. Everything else is real that we cannot perceive, and so what we're here left is these meat bags, meat puppets, trying to discern what's real and what's not. Crazy stuff. Jack says we need an alien to call in, Mike. Yeah, I think that would be great. Speaking of aliens, where the hell is Ash? I was supposed to. Let's see. Is Ash out there? Let's see. No, he doesn't seem to be. He again, like I said, he had an issue with a human incursion on Mars. So I think he had to, like I said, he's probably still stamping out, dissidents here and there. So I don't know. I don't know if that's still going on, but maybe he'll pop on a little bit later tonight. But anyway, that's the question tonight. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're talking about. It's not over. Are you, Penny? Is it ever over? It's not over. It's not over. Let's go to Jay, actually. We got Jay in the caller queue here. Let's go to Jay. Jay from New York. Oh, let's go. Let's do it. What's up, Jay? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Mike, it's a pleasure.
And you, sir.
Sorry. Turning down the volume on the other devices so I'm not getting feedback.
That's okay. You're good, man. You're good.
The whole... Yeah, the universe is evolving. We're evolving. The planet's evolving. Who was it that called in and said something about the fever? It's like the global warming is a fever. We're little fleas, get us off the back. It's all changing. Look at the energy of the show. Everybody's calling in and we're talking about these things. And there's a lot of energy there. Our energy is building, Are we evolving by doing this? Talking about these things that we don't really know. And does anybody really know? The government hasn't told us all their little secrets because, well, maybe they just don't really, we know, but we don't really, what are we going to tell you? I really think that, we're definitely evolving, all of us.
Yeah, so I've heard this. I think Darwin would disagree because Darwin was a naturalist, and Darwin, of course, the theory of evolution, Darwin, the origin of the species, that Darwin, Charles Darwin, he actually would probably say that we stop evolving once we're born, because then the actual, the cellular connection has been made, and the traits have already been kind of built in from the randomization and all this stuff. So I think he would say no. I think he would say that once we're born, we stop evolving. But I beg to differ. I think that there's a little bit more to human beings than just the suit of clay, the flesh, the golem that we stomp around.
Well, absolutely. Right? If we get sick for whatever reason it is and we die, we're not going to reproduce, or we're going to reproduce very little. And those people aren't going to be next step in the evolution of things. It's the sad reality of it, but if you're not around, you're not going to be part of it. That's just how it goes. And I think, where you live someplace where you needed to be a fast runner. Well, your lineage is probably going to be pretty decent runners. It's all stupid little teeny tiny, the butterfly effect. One little teeny tiny thing can affect things forever and ever and ever. The same way with the universe, one little teeny tiny thing that we do. We go to Mars. We spend all that energy and time and effort and everything else like that. I mean, there's the physical part of it, but there's the mental part of it, and then the spiritual part of it that all goes on with it too. You know, that's all going out there into the flow of all of it. And it's like a river, you know, like the guy, I can't remember his name. I feel really bad about because he's called it more than a couple of times now. But
damn you, Jay!
You know,
what the hell's wrong with you, man?
I was working in my garage like Beechwood, not taking notes.
That was Matt from California, who used to live in Oregon.
Yeah.
See, I'm terrible with names, by the way. I just try really, really hard for this show because it's an honor.
I write them down.
You guys do, yeah, there you go. I don't. I just I actually have a cheat sheet. I can take notes in my little call-in software. So if you've called in more than once, I can just type your name in and it shows up. So that's how I cheat. So anyway, because I'm terrible with names. I've always been. I'll never forget your face. I'll never forget a face. But there's so many Johns and Jimmys and Jameses and Janes. Holy shit, man! I forget all the names. It's crazy. Anyway.
I mean, but that's where we put ourselves over the last year and a half. Is we don't get to see people. You know, I mean, just recently, you know, we see you on the show. I'm still disappointed that you're not wearing your blue blocker glasses when you're staring at the computer for 3 hours straight.
Let's see. Do I have them? I'll show you why.
The dog ate them.
No, I'll put one. I'll put them on just for you, Jay. See? It makes me look like a weirdo because you can see the yellow tint. But anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, I know.
I can be a weirdo. I mean, I'm drinking beer.
It's good for your eyes.
Doing a talk show. So you know, when I'm not doing this, I wear them pretty much the whole. If I'm working on the computer, I usually have them on. That's why they're right here. So you're good. Don't worry. I appreciate you worrying about me. We're good.
Yeah.
Now here's a question. Check this out. So Robert says this in the chat. He says, here's the big question. If the universe is evolving, it is evolving into what? What's your theory on that?
I think we're going to go with energy. Like the positive, the negative energy. I mean, I really think that's where we're going. I think it's a yin and a yang. There's going to be a balance coming. I mean, we're definitely off balance right now with a lot of different things, but I really think it's going to be energy. We're not going to be able to travel to all these other planets, and there's going to have to be an energy thing, you know, whether it be a Stargate or. I really don't think we can take a ship there. I can't figure out any way to do it. I've been working on that since I was applying to colleges, you know.
To Mars?
30 years ago.
Mars or somewhere else?
Well, I mean, Mars is obtainable. I really think Mars is obtainable. The 3-month ride there is probably going to be a real bummer. If you survive the radiation and everything on the ride there, you're definitely going to get it when you get to Mars. You're not going to come back, you know, the whole bone structure and gravity and all that. If you do come back, you're going to be really sick. You know, I think we can go to Mars, but
yeah,
the trip there is going to hurt you.
It's going
to
It's going to suck. It is going to suck. Okay, so you think it's evolving into energy of some sort? So yeah, I don't know.
Or how we play with it.
Yeah.
You know, the fifth dimension thing that you put out there with a little, you know, how to explain it to a kid, you know, kindergarten level with how you look at the levels of the planes and stuff like that. You know, hey everybody, not only is there a fourth dimension, there's a fifth one too. You know, now there's proof of it. You know, maybe that's what the whole disclosure of aliens are. You know, someone put in the general chat during the show today about some guy who's walking around in 2027 with nothing going on. Even if he put a lot of effort to make the video into it, that's kind of a creepy thought, you know, that there could be this same thing going on somewhere else at the same time. And I never talked to you, you know, or heard from Beechwood or anything else like that. How different would things be, you know, a small little change?
I wonder.
It's odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd. You know, there's a lot of odd things going on right now. And at this point, I'm not going to discount anything. They took Bunny's show off, wiped her for 500 episodes or whatever it was and stuff like that. If they do your show, man, I'm telling you, I'm planting spuds.
Is it gone? Is it gone? Penny's show is gone?
I haven't went and looked because I'm listening to the show on the YouTube, but I was reading the chat, and I guess she got another bad mark or whatever it is, and she was kind of bummed out about it in the chat today during the show.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of what she was saying. I didn't catch all of it because clearly I'm trying to do like 7 things at once.
Well, you're talking on the radio and talking to people and having a conversation.
But and this is part of the problem too with this mob rule business, and why I can't stand this cancel culture stuff is because all you have to do is get like a little mob together, like for Alex Jones, for instance. I think it was only 200 people that got together and took him off of Spotify, that started that entire chain reaction that took him down, that canceled his ass. But not that Alex Jones is the pinnacle of anything. He annoys me sometimes too, but sometimes he's right.
He annoys everybody. That's his thing, man. Yeah. He just goes out there to be annoying. That's his whole gig.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to say what I want to say, and I don't care how annoying I am.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
The thing is with Paul, the UFO hunter today, we're getting taken down off of Facebook Live, and political affiliation aside, there's people that I still listen to occasionally from last year that were having the same problem today too. There, 4 or 5 times I was in the middle of a conversation. I'm going live again. So it was going on Facebook kind of hardcore tonight. I'm just an observer, Mike. I read the things that people put in the chat and check out the articles and stuff like that. And then again, I also look at the mask mandate got lifted in New York, and nobody in the Home Depot had one on today. I just
that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, though, is you need to observe what's going on around you. Situational awareness.
Yeah, totally.
What's really going on here? They might say it, and they can make it look all great on the news and everything else like that because they're showing you that one spot, and they're giving the guys $10 to walk by the camera with the mask on.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. The media manipulation, all that's happening too. It's so funny to me that people don't really realize, and I don't mean crisis actors, don't get me wrong, okay? I mean like actually paying people to stage a setup, to stage a media, just to fool us, right? Like how they, you can take like an empty auditorium and angle the camera just right and make it look full. Things like this, It's all this is just a big manipulation of our brains, and it's unfortunate that this is the world we live in. But again, right? Thank God we have the ability to still speak freely in some capacity, and we're able to do this. So there are some things we should be grateful for, even though it seems like a lot of things are crumbling around us. So I just want to point that out. Again, this is a show. Like I said, if I didn't have faith in humanity, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be in a bunker, in a real bunker somewhere. And that would be that. But growing spuds with you, Jay. that would be that.
Well, I mean, but we get the opportunity to talk about things, the show where you called in with Bunny on her show and everything else like that, and you were talking about Sasquatch and stuff like that. I mean, it was an awesome show, The fact that you always bring out the thing about the baby juice here. Let's have a conversation about this. What else are we doing? But, we're all intelligent people. You're not going to attack anybody because their idea is different than ours. Let's have a serious conversation about it, like, intelligent people. Give yourself the opportunity to learn something. And that's one of the great things about what's going on here with these shows, And it is. It's awesome. And I love the way you dance around things. I really do. Ballerina, you're good at it.
Thank you.
Especially when people call you up and try to, people call you up and they start walking down the wrong road. Oh, you're killing me here, but, I mean, you really are. It's good. And it's nice that we have the chance to, we used to be able to sit in a bar and have these conversations with people random, about whatever, 9/11, when that happened, Is that long enough ago that we're allowed to talk about that, or is that going to get us on the list too?
I think that's forever on the list. I think that one's
okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'll drop it there then.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's one of those things, right? They've kind of co-opted that conversation a long time ago. But yeah. So we're going to keep on trucking here. So I appreciate you listening. Thanks for all the great thoughts and great words about the show. And what a batch of amazing callers tonight, eh? You get to join the train of the best callers anywhere on the internet tonight. I'm pretty sure we stack up with anybody on this show. Thanks to all of you. Like I said, I can't thank you guys enough. Final thought while we got you on the air, my man.
Tell your mom to spend the winnings on Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Okay, I'll do that. She does
set her up a Robin Hood. Get her dad tag.
She does listen to the show, and so she knows exactly who you are. She asks me from time to time. She's like, "How's Jay?" I'm like, "Jay seems fine. I talked to him tonight." She's like, "I know. I heard." I'm like, "Damn it, Mom." But anyway, she knows. She'll hear you. Thank you for acknowledging her. Thanks for being you, my man. I appreciate all the things you do for the show, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
God love you, Mike.
Thanks, brother. You too. Thanks, brother. You too. There you go. We are doing this. We are still talking about. Actually, I'm going to leave Jay in this, and I'm going to just mute him. There you go. There you go, Jay. You can stay right there. Okay, so we are just talking about this, right? Like I said, this has been one of those weird shows, and I, you kind of have an idea of how they're going to turn out, right? Meaning, just what kind of interaction you get, because it's all about the interaction. Okay, because there's some nights it's like crickets, right? I'm here just kind of talking to myself and trying to get another additional thought kind of thrown in. And nobody wants to. Nobody has. Nobody's engaged enough, right? And so I thought tonight, honest to God, I thought it was going to be one of those nights where I was like, 3 hours of talking by myself. Here I go, right? Trying to fill the air. It's hard. It's freaking hard, guys. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. It makes it way more difficult. But anyway, I thought that was going to be tonight. But we had the opposite. I literally barely got anywhere with this, and you guys really took over. And so, like I said, thank you very much. Todd, if you want to jump in here and co-host the rest of this, you're welcome to. Get your ass in here. Just hop right in, man. You're a mod. You can just jump right on the damn air. Just get your ass in here, and what's up? Let's see. Robert says, I find myself wondering why Earth's immunity is attacking the people of Buddha land so fiercely. First the COVID, then on top of that, the black fungus, and now on top of that, the most lethal white fungus. I'm not sure what you mean. If you want to call us and clarify, I'm not exactly sure. Kelly says, all I can say about that is the Bohemian Grove. Matt says, I love this show. I love that you love this show. What's up? Let's see. What else do we got? Okay, so if that's true about your channel there, Bunny, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible news. And they're coming after you, huh? Yeah, right. Terrible, terrible stuff. What's up, Peter? Who did I miss tonight? Let's see. Arcane's there. Good night, Fred. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, let's do it. Let's get back to let's get a Todd for a sec, and then we got Joe from Florida, because of course, right, we have to have the who's who of troubled minds. We had Robert call tonight. I'm not going to name everybody because, of course, if I do, I'm going to leave somebody out, and I'll feel like an ass. But Todd, welcome back to the show. What's up, buddy? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, man.
Right on.
I just wanted to say I loved the two callers that called right after me. Everything they said, I vibed with. The first guy, but the way he was explaining things, I said it in chat, but if he doesn't already know it, he's definitely an empath. If you feel other people's energy and it affects you in that manner, you're definitely an empath. You can take on other people's energy and it affects you in the way that you said it did. Because I'm an empath myself and I can feel people's energy too. Like, I can know in the first few seconds of talking to somebody just by the way that I feel, not from what they say, but the energy that they give off. It'll hit me in my gut if they're somebody that I know I shouldn't be talking to. So I just wanted to say what he was saying was awesome. And the guy after him too.
Yeah, I can't point to a bad call tonight, to be perfectly honest. Everybody was smoking and spot on tonight. So oddly enough, right, so we have you jump back in, and we have two more calls. So let's go straight to these. So, Todd, I'm not sure. I'm going to click this button. I'm going to see if you can hear these. You should be able to hear this, okay? So my audio setup is finicky. And sometimes if Discord has an update in between when we start and when we go, it screws up so you can't hear the callers. So let's try this and let's see if you can hear. You might be able to interact with this. If not, just hang tight. We'll get back to you in a sec. Let's go to Joe in Florida. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and OG Todd. How are you, my man? What's on your mind tonight?
Good evening, guys. A couple of things, but I know we've talked about this subject before. But to jump back, when you mentioned about Robert and Buddha Land and why they're having such a hard time, don't forget not too long ago, China had a skirmish with some Indian soldiers in some mountainous region, and I tend to think that, if you put an airplane up there and you spray some aerosols in the right wind conditions, you can keep your plane on the right side of the border and see if you can infect the population that way. Some of India is not that sanitary. Something like that would spread. That's just talking about the virus, and that's just my 2 cents on that. As far as the universe being sentient, I think we've all suspected this, and maybe scientists can actually see the math and do the math now. It starts to make sense. Maybe they are starting to see alternate dimensions like they're talking about. Any concern? I don't know. I always bring up the book that I've read called God's Debris by Scott Adams, and he was the author of Gilbert, the comic book series. And basically, he just postulates that, I'll read this right off the wiki page, but an omnipotent God annihilated himself in the Big Bang because an omnipotent or an omnipotent entity would already know everything is possible except his own lack of existence. And he only exists now as the smallest units of matter and the law of probability, or what's left of God's debris. And then it goes through, when I say the omega point, when you read about that, it's at a choke point where everything comes back to itself. So the universe is expanding and learning as it goes, and at some point it'll contract and maybe evolve back. When you talk about evolution, the way I look at it is, most of the universe is maybe in some kind of organized chaos, but maybe in the beginning it was just chaos, not explosion in that bang. And going into time, we've talked about this, that maybe everything happened at once, and we're living in that shadow. That's why we have deja vu and other experiences, maybe for a split second. To me, that's a different point, but total chaos, Big Bang, things start to coalesce and get organized. But still out of chaos has to come some kind of order, but maybe when it goes back to that omega point, which I think I mentioned in the chat about Jesus, the alpha, the omega, coming back to the source. It's in the Matrix. It's in a lot of things. A lot of British sci-fi where these auditors just want peace or dead space or back to nothing, a void. Maybe the cycle starts over again.
I like it. I've heard some of that. I haven't heard the. I really dig the idea that the omnipotent being knows, the God, whoever it is that started the universe, knows everything is possible except its own destruction. And so as a result, the Big Bang was that entity trying to kill itself, right? And then maybe re-experience a rebirth trillions of years later as it contracts back on itself. That's a hell of an idea. You said that's
pretty much. I mean,
Scott Adams.
I read the book. It's a really quick read. I don't even have the book. I read it a long time ago. But there's a lot of particular things, and there's different levels of consciousness that the guy goes through. Like, basically, you have consciousness at birth, but your fifth level is the avatar level, which is understanding the human mind is a delusion-generating machine, and that science is another belief system, albeit a useful one, which is probably kind of where we're at now, because science is another delusion machine. So, but the math bears that out. Science and math would bear those things out. So maybe scientists are starting to see those things. I mean, we see patterns, we see all kinds of things. One particular thing in the book that I always remembered was, if God was omnipotent and blew himself up, then it's just left down to probability and chance over time. And I vaguely remember an example where if you flip a coin, it's 50-50 heads or tails. But if that coin comes up right in the middle, standing on end, then that's God. That would be God. You get what I'm saying, though? That particular miracle would be God.
Yes, exactly. It's funny because I'm a gambler, right? A poker player. So when you talk about the heads or tails and the 50-50 and then say it stands on its edge, I can't help but laugh. Anyway, yeah, right. So is that God or is that just like an extreme outlier? I think that's a hell of a question there.
Well, an outlier or chance, something that tells you, what is chance, what is synchronicity. What is being right there at the right time?
Agreed. Agreed.
It just gets into all those.
Like we don't have answers. Hang on for one sec, Joe. I want to test this. Todd, can you hear him? I think Todd checked out. Todd, testing 1 2.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear Joe?
I couldn't. He was cutting in and out like he was on the cell phone. Sometimes he would be loud, and then I couldn't hear him at all.
Okay, but you can kind of hear him coming through. Okay, just making sure. All right, cool. Can you hear Todd, Joe? Can you hear him?
Actually, yeah, I can hear him loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Just checking. And
I am on a cell phone.
Yeah, it did. It came in and out for me as well. So I think you're spot on there, Todd. Okay, all right. So Joe, so what do you think then? So Robert asked this question: if the universe is evolving, what is it evolving to? That becomes the question tonight. What do you think?
I think it's evolving back to its source, which would be a void or nothing, or the densest form of matter. Basically, it will expand and contract. And we're just living in that shadow. If, again, time is a construct, it's come up in conversation all night tonight. The way, we live in time, but in the grand scheme of things, time has, time doesn't matter to the bigger point, I guess. So what's it evolving to? It's evolving through our experience. Maybe it's learning our experience. And then at some point in time, it'll just be snuffed out back in the darkness.
All right. So it's reverting. It is evolving in a positive manner, so it can at some point revert and evolve in a negative manner back to where it came from, which was, of course, the void. I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure it's positive. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's still chaos.
Well, I mean,
I could use.
I mean the expansion.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean the expansion. So the positive expansion, so that at some point it can contract and revert to the void. That's what I mean. That's what I mean in positive, negative, not like energy. So just to clarify.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but then I look at things like, if we can only use our planet as an example. But if you look at the Chinese, they have been harmonized. They want to be harmonized. If you look at these alien grays that maybe are from our future, they all seem like drones. They all have a collective consciousness. They could read minds. That underlying communication thing creeps up in a lot of these things we talk about. So those things bring about order, whether you like it or not. We have our fierce independence here in this country. But at some point in time, slowly, little by little, it may be taken away. By deception, by boot, by anything, to bring order, to always bring order. We're living in chaos, but we're coming into order. But what is order going to bring us? What dystopian future would it even be worth living in?
George Orwell says a boot on the neck. That's what George Orwell says. Yeah. That's order. Order out of chaos means a boot on your neck, and now everything is fine, right? Everything's just fine. We're all fine here now. How are you? All right. We got another call behind you. We got Todd here as well. So final thought while we got you on the phone, my friend. Final thought.
Final thought is just don't waste too much time feeling sorry for yourself. If you got one life that we know of, try to do the best you can and try not to spend too much time hating people.
Amen, brother. Amen. Amen to that. Too much time dealing with ourselves to really be trying to tell everybody else they're wrong and hate and all the division and all the bullshit. I'm with you, my man. Thanks, Joe. Joe from Florida, longtime caller, longtime listener. I appreciate it, my man. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Have a great weekend.
Have a good night.
Thanks, bro. You too. All right, so here we go. We got another caller right behind that, but let's get Todd's take. I know you heard some of that, Todd. What do you think about what Joe said right there? You talk for a little bit. I'm going to step away for 30 seconds. It's your show for 30 seconds because I'm going to grab another beer. Are you there?
All right.
Okay. Don't fuck this up, Todd. Don't fuck this up. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'll be right back.
All right. So my opinion, I don't believe that there's a God or anything like that. I believe in source, or that's how I believe. But I hear myself echoing on his thing. That's pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. My whole idea on the universe is it's all mental. I don't think there's one all powerful being. I don't think that's logically possible. I think the universe is it's alive, but it's a collection of consciousness, of every single thing's consciousness, like interconnecting and not like I don't know how to explain it.
I'm here. I'm listening to you. You're good. So you know who you sound like, actually, oddly enough, you sound like Han Solo, bro. You're like, I don't believe there's an all-powerful force that governs all the things in the universe. I believe in a good blaster at your side. You sound like Han Solo, bro.
I shot first.
It totally sounds like a Han Solo vibe. That's what I'm picking up. So yeah, I mean, but it's okay, right? I sense a different energy in you, my friend. Has something changed in your life?
Actually, to be honest, I changed my diet 3 days ago from mostly meat and bad greasy shit to fruits and vegetables, smoothies and juicers. And 3 days, this is where I'm at right now. Like, okay. I'm on a totally positive level.
Holy shit! I like the new Todd, man. Let's go from OG Todd to we love OG Todd. Yeah, man, good stuff. I'm glad to hear. I can just tell from the way you're speaking. It's less curt. It's less confrontational. And it seems like you're vibing with the universe right now. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, Shamanix from YouTube chat says, "Good man, keep it going, Todd. Good stuff, man. I'm glad I'm glad you're changing for the positive here. All right, let's go to an old friend of ours. You've done a show with him. Let's go to Kelly. So you can hear him. You can interact. I'll give you a chance to talk to Kelly as well. Let's go to Kelly in Colorado. You're on Trouble Minds with Mike and OG Todd. How are you, my friend?
What's going there?
Chilling, man. Chilling. Doing our thing. We're talking about the universe tonight. What the hell? I thought this was going to be one of those flop shows, and you guys came out of the woodwork and slayed it. So, what can you do? What can you do, man? Sometimes you fail, sometimes you win, and sometimes it's not even your own fault. What do you think about all this stuff tonight?
Well, so far, man, I just want to say there was great callers tonight. There are different perceptions of the universe, and the big picture, I guess you would say. But I'm kind of with Todd. I'm not the theory of an all one being. Like the God. In my opinion, is that just like we were talking about before, is everything is energy, right? So the whole universe is energy. Even fucking people call it dark energy or light energy. It's all the same. We're all energy, right? So, and the scientific paper that you're reading about the universe being, creating itself into a balance. Well, and it's kind of like what Joe was saying, that it's alive. It does expand and it contracts. You have balance, you have chaos. Because you have some of these galaxies, they're colliding into each other. You have black holes. There's a new theory I just seen. There was another scientist, physicist, who was claiming that, there was the Big Bang theory. He's saying that the Big Bang wasn't actually what people think, that it was from nothingness and then it all came from everything came from nothing. But his theory is that more or less it was the end of a galaxy, which created the Big Bang. So it was actually an explosion of a galaxy. I guess its center core, which some people say that. I think some science says that it's a giant black hole in the middle of a galaxy. That's where you get your whole swirl, your swirl of arms. But yeah, he was saying that it was galaxies it was an implosion. It's like or explosion that created, which can be too, if you're really thinking of all the stuff that's out there, like I said. Then you have nebulas. Everything's alive too. It's the whole purpose of the universe, in my eyes, is it's creating life. You have nebulas out there creating stars, planets, galaxies, and then you have black holes sucking them all in. It's like it's a give and go. It's cleaning up. I guess if you could say parts of the galaxy, or so he doesn't have so much of the explosion. But I believe too, if at a certain point when it's in its expansion, the universe has it's all frequencies, like we were talking in the chat, frequency and vibration. Well, we know everything is energy, just things like what Tesla talked about. But if at a certain point in expansion, you have the vibration or the frequency that it's creating, because everything is making it's got its own music, it makes its own sounds, So if you have that happening, at a certain point, I would say that there'll be a harmony, and I think we might be at the cusp of that. That we're coming into balance. Before, because there was a lot of chaos before where we're at the point we're at now.
Yeah, as some would say, call it the age of Aquarius, right? The age of enlightening. That the Mayan calendar with the Great Reset, and I don't mean that in like the European Union way, the Klaus Schwab way. No, I mean it like in the sense that there is an awakening happening, and I could kind of agree. It's as we splinter these paradigms, like the propaganda paradigms and like the news and the politics and all the crap that's just literally 95% meaningless. You start to see people discussing things like this, right? Like people looking to the stars, people looking inside themselves, people changing their lives for the better. I think you're right. I think there is an awakening here and a chance to move into this realm. I think we're not there yet, though. I think it seems like we've put one toe in and we need to take two full steps, with the entire human race to get us there. But I think you're right. I think we're actually moving into a new era. And we're battling the forces of the old era that don't want that power to slip. And I think that's where we find ourselves. I think fantastic point there.
Yeah, we are at the cusp. It's like anything that's out with the old and in with the new. Of course, the old doesn't want to go out peacefully. Well, some people, some say they would, and then some is just they go out like a bat out of hell. But the change is coming. And that's what I think. So, that the cusp, that's where we're at. We're barely in the beginning of, this age of Aquarius, the all-knowing. But, yeah, it's there. But you can see that it's almost like a rapid succession on this time between the two ages. I mean, I wouldn't know the last one because, we haven't been around that long. But, yeah, if you think about it, though, it seems to me, I don't know, like, as I get older, I don't know. It seems like time goes by faster, or maybe that kid is right. That once we turn that one machine on, that next we jumped into a different dimension or something. Because man, I'm telling you, it seems like I don't know. For me, it just seems, and I talk to a lot of people. Some seem to agree that it seems like time is moving faster. I don't know if it's because you're getting older, and I don't want to say that. That's not that's just like one of those little wise cells, but it just seems like it is. It's like everything moves faster. And then you're seeing weird, people post some pretty crazy shit on the internet, but I've seen different videos is the so-called the glitch, the Matrix, like a bird. it's like stuck in midair, you know. And there was like other people filming it, pointing at it, looking at it. I mean, or a bird that was perched that looked like it was by a tree, but it wasn't even, there was no branch there, and he's just perched there, sitting there. Or like an airplane, like a jumbo airplane, like a passenger airplane is caught in midair. You know, you see some weird shit like that. You know, there's no really, explanation from it. People say that it was, the people that were driving away from it, and the aircraft coming in real slow that looked like it gave off that, perception. But I beg to differ, because there's some weird shit out there.
There's definitely some weird shit out there. Todd, what's up? Want to address Kelly here? If you know you're listening to what he's saying, I know you can hear him. Earth to Todd.
What's up, Kelly?
What's up, man? How you been?
Good, you?
Not bad, man. It's good stuff that you're, changing your diet. That's what, me and my wife did that years ago when I was stationed in San Diego. But you'll have, that is a great feeling though, man, because your body gets rid of all that stuff. And once you really get in tuned. Yeah,
it really is, man.
Go ahead, Todd.
My body feels like it's buzzing. Like when I first drink my smoothie in the morning, I had like strawberry, oranges, and bananas today. And like after I drink it, like even while I'm still drinking it, I feel like my body's buzzing with energy. Like I literally feel a buzz radiating through my body. Like that's how good I feel. And I have like so much energy. Before I was lethargic because I was eating a lot of meat and beef and stuff and greasy food. And I just always didn't want to do anything. And now I feel like I want to get up and do stuff all the time. And it feels good.
And you're aware good. And coherent and positively contributing to the show, man. I can't. I don't want to say I'm shocked, but holy shit, I'm shocked. welcome to the rest of the world, my friend. I'm glad. I'm really happy for you. Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry. I had to throw the dig, man. Todd and I have been jabbing each other for 3 years. I got to throw the dig. Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry.
Oh, I know that. I've been around for a couple of years. It's been hilarious.
Right, exactly.
That's good, though. No, man. What do you think, Todd? What's your opinion on that one?
Can you just remind me what it was again? Because I'm still a little stoned. I forgot.
The universe, man. We're still talking about the universe.
Yeah, but what was he saying?
Well, a lot. Well, I mean,
you're cutting out on my end.
I would say that it was, the universe is alive, and that, everything is energy. You have the frequencies and vibrations of everything, and then after a while that I would say that, we're coming into the, like the age of Aquarius now.
The age of Aquarius.
Where we are in the universe, it'd probably be, that we're coming into tune. We're, in tune now. That was some people would say.
Yeah, I got what you're saying now. Okay, about the time moving faster. In my experience, when I was homeless in California and living life, I was in the moment. So life would pass me by so fast, but I wouldn't even notice it because I was always in the moment. I wasn't thinking about the future. I wasn't thinking about the past. I was thinking about that moment and what I was doing. And like when you're sitting, like late the past year, I've been here in Arizona and I've been basically sitting in the house all the time because of the whole COVID thing. And time, your perception of time slows down in certain times too. Like I felt like it was dragging on and on and on. But then you're saying you felt like it was going faster and faster and faster. And that's how I felt when I was in California because I was just aging year after year, and it was just passing right by me. But now it was dragging on for a while, but now it's starting to speed up again. Like I think a lot of it has to do with feeding off of other people's energy and where you're at mentally on how you perceive things. That's just my opinion.
I could see that, it's interesting thought. But yeah, I've been there in it. I would agree that it's kind of where you're part of your life. But I don't know, man. It just seems the days go by too fast. Like, you know what I mean? The years have been clipping too fast. You know, and then last year it happened so fast that okay, I live in Colorado, man, and where I do what I do is, you know, I work for the post office, so like I do some routes that are up in the mountains, and some of the trees that are up there, you know, they have a lot of pollen, right? So, but like last year, that's the whole thing. It was fucking weird, man. 2020 was something. Not only what supposedly happened, but like the planet was acting weird. Like there was no pollen anywhere, nowhere. Like it barely a little yellow in some places where, you know, some pines they always get the shit. But it was like the planet was shut down too. If you notice that, I don't know if anybody else out there would, you know, where they're at, but here you're bathing in that pollen. You know, the shit's all yellow everywhere. But last year, nothing.
It's because the Earth goes through cycles, and sometimes it's not as, you know, the pollen's not as bad as it would be the cycle before. I understand what you're saying. I agree.
Yeah, but like this year, I know that's going to come out big time because, man, there's already some of these trees are already letting out that like that cotton shit that's flying around. It's going to be bad this year. I don't know. I'm just saying it. I know it goes through cycles, but you know what I mean? That's why they have the almanac, right? So, you know, people saying, you know, they kind of guesstimate. You know, you can tell by the trees. There was a guy that kind of showed me, he was telling me, like, some of the, where he was at in Maryland, you could tell by the acorns, you know, the size of the acorn head. You know, that's how they were kind of judging what the Earth was doing, you know, the almanac thing and shit. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting. But that extreme was pretty crazy, though. You know what I mean? It was like nothing, bro. It was nothing.
Right.
Compared to where you're just bathing in the shit.
I hear you.
Boom. You guys are like a blast from the past. Sorry, go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead.
No, I'm just, you know, saying, you know, that's some of my take on that. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where we're at. For me, like all this stuff that's happening with, and I'm talking, you know, within our, you know, our galaxy, right? Or not our real area, in our solar system. And if you look at the planets, you got to look at the planets, man. And everything's heating up. And it's like you got a weird tug. Like if you look at the last few years, I mean, you have whole oceans receding, you know, like in some, like on some coastlines and for miles, right? And that doesn't happen unless something's tugging on something, you know, on a universal level. And then these planets are all heating up, you know, that's where you have explosions of volcanoes. I don't know, man. Something might be coming in our direction. That's all I'm going to say, you know, and you call it planet.
Nibiru.
We call it something.
I knew.
Yeah, we call it Nibiru. You know what I'm saying? Science does agree with it. You know, it's like the whole story. You know, we already know that whole story. But again, I don't know, man. It's weird. Something and that's my feeling about it. I just feel like something's upon us.
Right, the age of Aquarius, the new golden era. That's what I was thinking about that when you were talking about that earlier. The age of Aquarius, like, and people waking up, and there being a mass awakening. Like a lot of us, or some of us, awakened years ago for whatever reason. We don't know why or how, or our situations that we were in helped us to wake up. For me personally, it was being at rock bottom on the street, sleeping under bridges, to waking up, being around friends, smoking weed, and just having great energy around me. And that's when I woke up. Like, I woke up to a lot of things. I woke up to not believing in religion, not believing half the shit the government says, half the shit the news says, because all they do is regurgitate what the government wants them to say. You know, it's all owned by corporations, and like there's so much money put into what they want to feed the people and what they want the people to believe. You know what I'm saying? And I think since a lot of people are waking up, and just tonight's show, from what I was experiencing before, listening to the guys talking after me, and when I was speaking, and how other people were saying, like just how it went from what I said to what the guy after me said, and how it all like intermingled with each other, and everybody was on that same level for that moment in time. And I think that's what awakening is, like people being able to connect on that level where one person can say one thing and another person could just feed off of it, and the next person feeds off of that, and then everybody gets sucked into that feeling. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a true awakening.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why we're all here, right? You know?
Yeah.
Is it?
There's the old.
Well, humans are social beings, so.
I thought we were just getting together, drinking beer, and talking about weird shit. Do I have this all wrong?
That's part of socializing.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm just kidding. All right. You guys are the best. Kelly, we got to wrap this sucker up. Unbelievable the amount of fantastic calls we've had. Literally, this has been a who's who of troubled minds over the years. It's like a blast from the past with OG Todd here, reformed his ways, and here trying to have a good conversation with the rest of us. A lot of new blood calling in tonight, like Derek from Massachusetts. We got Kelly again from the old days that called way back in the Phil Schneider episode. It's been a wild ride tonight, and like I said, without all of you, now this is important. Without all of you, this doesn't happen this way. Okay, and I mean that. Go back 2 years and see me trying to run through a bunch of information. It's not fun. It's not sometimes it's enlightening. It's not fun. It's less. It's just less all around. It's not social. And this, like I said, you guys literally, when I say this, I mean this. This is not my show. This is our show. And so I can't thank all of you enough for being part of this tonight and turning something into. I did I shit you not 10 minutes of prep and was like, fuck, this is gonna suck. And you guys all came out and saved the shit out of this. Weirdly enough, like kind of like you said, right? Maybe the universe out there felt it, right? Like somehow you guys felt that I needed you and you all came through. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's the thing. Because I did, and you all did. It's incredible. Like literally, I got through like 3 articles. Like think about that. In 3 freaking hours, so many amazing callers. We didn't really get through any content at all. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like I said, I can't thank all of you enough. Thank you, Kelly, again. Thanks, Todd, for being here. Final thought, Kelly, and then we'll outro this sucker with Todd. We have one more call we're going to take after that. But final thought, Kelly, and let's finish this sucker up.
No, man, just I don't know, man. For me, just keep it positive. Everything, right? Do everything within your life. We do a lot of meditation. There's a thing called sun gazing. If you guys ever interested in that, that actually helps out with the pineal gland. That's more of awakening. But yeah, that's always. Life isn't really. Just like we were talking about the universe. Life isn't really as much as bad as what you sometimes think it is. There's a lot of war and mayhem that shit's happening, right? And I feel sorry for those people around the world that have to deal with that, because, not everybody deserves any of that shit. But again, always send love and positive, thoughts or feelings. People call it prayers, but, it does work. That shit, you know what I mean? If we all stand up and, like we know how, that we should know how anyway. There's been examples throughout in history that of, great men and women that have done that. And you've seen the positive movement that happened. But like I said before, just keep it positive and everybody, like I call everybody this, family. Just take it easy. You guys have a good night.
Appreciate it, my friend. That's Kelly from Colorado. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Say hi to Michelle for us. Thanks, brother.
Will do.
Thanks, man. All right, there you go. We got another call here we're going to take real fast, but final thoughts on his call, Todd, and then we'll take this call and wrap this sucker up.
I pretty much agree with everything he said, and I just, within the past few days, started meditating again myself. And I did a meditation yesterday to align my chakras, and this is what happened today.
Well, I got to tell you, I noticed the difference, man. So whatever it is you're doing, it's resonating. So keep it up. Like I said, it's refreshing to see you not trying to pick fights with everybody in the chat. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that. All right, let's go one more time to Beechwood. Beechwood, you got 1 minute. What's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, nothing. The book Sphere by Michael Crichton.
Okay.
Someone mentioned time travel earlier. It's the gist of the story is humans time travel from the future. They think they find a UFO on the bottom of the ocean. Kind of reminds me of the Baltic Sea anomaly. But yeah, that's a good book and a good scenario. And then the other stuff was just like, the consciousness and the synchronicity. And it is a real thing. And now clocks, like old grandfather clocks, cuckoo clocks, if you put them close enough to each other, they'll synchronize from the vibration of the mechanical, the way they function. And they figured that out on ships a long, long time ago. But it's true. And, everybody talks about frequency, vibration, and how it can affect someone else's consciousness. And then as people, we're actually able to step back and think about what we're thinking about. So we have several layers of consciousness within us. But yeah, that was just real quick. I won't go too in depth. But man, it was an awesome show. You had a bunch of callers.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a who's who, man. Everybody's been around for a long time. New folks too. All we were missing tonight was a first-time caller. I don't think we had one of those, but I don't care. We're blessed, man. We've got an embarrassment of riches with all you guys, so I'm not going to complain. I appreciate the call, my friend. Have a nice weekend, like I said, Beechwood, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, my friend. Take it easy.
Thanks, brother. All right, Todd, let's wrap this up. What do you think, man? What does the new Todd think about the show now? You used to shit on us about a year and a half ago. Have you changed your mind?
I still shit on the commercials.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is what it is. So here's the beautiful thing about that. Let me so you know what's happening. So the crackdown's coming, and actually, I was going to say this anyway. So it's interesting you bring that up. So Facebook, in case you guys have noticed, I'm not going to say the word again. Let's say the thing that is FB. That thing is limiting our reach incredibly. Go look at the videos and look at what they used to be. Look at what they are now. Look at the notifications people get. So basically the people that are showing up now know the time and they show up. There's no notifications going out because we're getting like just a trickle of people compared to what we used to have, and a trickle of views on the videos. So we are literally being squeezed out of the equation by FB. All right. The folks that are listening on FB, I'm not kidding. The time is short. If you are not on another platform, like, I'm not going to suggest another because they'll, expedite our exit. But it's time to maybe jump on another platform and listen to us somewhere else because just look at the numbers. The numbers are miserable, like down by like 60%, and they keep just dropping. So you wonder why there's like 12 people in chat? Well, I'll tell you why. Because they're not notifying anybody. There are 44,000 likes and follows on that page. And we get 12 to 15 people in chat now. I'm telling you. It's time, guys. It's time. So writing's on the wall. I don't want to say any more than that because they'll just kick us off straight out for telling me whatever. But for me saying these things. But it's happening. So just FYI, there are other platforms. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do. And there you go. So to address that and bring it back around to what you said, Todd, the reason we're on Fringe FM is because if we get chopped out of everything, we still have Fringe FM. It's a private company. The Joe Roop is Lighting the Void is the guy that owns it, and he's assured me as long as we're radio friendly, we can say whatever the fuck we want. Right? He's not gonna censor anything. He says he didn't say this, but he implied it's going to take like torches and pitchforks at his door to have him say maybe you should tone it down. So you understand. So if we get taken off every platform tomorrow, we still have Fringe FM. So you see. So I think just for that freedom of being able to speak and reach people, I think some commercials are a worthy sacrifice to that. So that's so you know what's happening. That's the bigger picture and the bigger scope of what's going on with that. So just want to let you know.
I understand, and I see where you're coming from.
Okay, so that's what I mean. So it's clearly commercials are not ideal, but I'm trying to do my best and talk to you guys in between, so you don't have to be subjected to it. But it is what it is. So anyway, just to let you know what's happening. So anyway, let's wrap this up. What do you think about the conversation tonight? Like I said, if you're gonna be cool Todd, if you're gonna be chill Todd, I'd love to have you on more, man. Let's do this from time to time. Let's get your ass on here. Like I said, people in the chat are impressed with you, impressed with your insight, impressed with your patience, impressed with your takes on this subject, and as am I. What's your take on tonight, and what's going on with the future?
I didn't catch much of what the guy who was talking before me said, because I caught the show. I mean, I caught it at the beginning, but then I left, then I came back, and then I kind of heard some of what he was saying, but I didn't really catch the whole gist of his idea. But the way what you just said means a lot to me, that people listened to what I said and actually reacted and said something to you in chat about what I was saying. Like, tonight was an experience for me. Like, and it was what I was saying and my experience and the people after me that called and their experience, and it all coerced into one feeling or vibration, and then everybody just jumped on and said their piece, and that was a real experience for me, and I actually felt it inside, like I was overflowing with emotion, and I thought that was really cool, and I was really happy I called in tonight, and I'm really happy I listened tonight.
Thank you, as am I. I'm glad that things are changing for you, and like I said, people can feel it, man, and like this is the whole point. If you go all the way back to the beginning, maybe we didn't know it then, but I think this has been the goal of this whole show, is to just, in the end, it doesn't really matter. The subjects are sometimes hot, sometimes cold, but I think in the end, it's just to bring people together and kind of get that feeling you described. That's what it's about. I mean, all the media is the opposite. They're just fling poo at each other, shit on each other, hate people because they're black or white or gay or straight or this or that or the other thing. It has nothing to do with any of that. We're experiencing, or let's frame it in this context from Derek from Massachusetts, Night Stalker. He said that we are vessels of the universe experiencing itself. So there we go. So we each have our own journey that the universe is kind of steering us through to experience itself. So anyway, interesting thoughts, and like I said, thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to you hopefully contributing more in the future, because you're definitely welcome. All right, let's finish this sucker up. Let's do some. You got to say some good shit about the show, because you've been on the show tonight. So we got some people. What's up? Tam Bam says I still get notified. Kelly says I do. Todd says I do. Matt says it gets notified. Robert says Twitch emails me when Mike's other show is live. So I think what's happening is if you didn't set it to notify, I think it's kind of cut everybody else out. So if you didn't set it, So anyway, let's finish this sucker up. I'm going to play you some outro music, Todd, and you're going to do your best. I don't know, your best J. Edgar Hoover or something. You're gonna give us the greatest outro ever for Troubled Minds, and I'm gonna help you. Here we go. Music's playing. Do your thing, buddy. Spit some hot fire.
All right, so I had a great time tonight. I really enjoyed the show. Mike was really good tonight. The other callers were really good, and if people can keep coming together and feeding off of each other in a positive way, it affects people everywhere. All the people that are listening are part of what we're doing at that moment in time. So it's we're all experiencing ourselves together at the same time in the universe.
And stop shitting on each other. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your time.
Well, sometimes it's worth it.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Again, that's been the message the whole time. The underlying message of this show has been that. Just stop shitting on each other. We can get together, we can have a good time, we can disagree, and we can still be friends. And I think it's a noble concept, and I think it's a concept we need to adopt as a human race. Anyway, thanks again, Todd, for being here tonight. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Like I said, the calls have been amazing. You bailed my ass out. You have no idea. I would have been rambling on and exhausted right now. I am feeling pumped up, full of energy, and it's all because of you guys. Like I said, thank you very much. And as we finish this, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, we'll do Troubled Minds, a couple hours on Fringe, so please excuse the commercials. It is what it is. We're trying to expand the reach and give us additional outlets, as I explained. And Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific on Twitch, we do Conspiracy News with Michael Strange. And looking forward to talk to you guys and expand my knowledge and spread some good vibes. Thanks again, everybody, tonight. And thanks to you, Todd, for congratulations first, and thank you for contributing to the show. Appreciate that a lot. Let's finish. We're done. Be sure, be strong, be true. I say that for a reason. Thank you for listening. From our troubled minds to yours, have a great night.
Good night, all.